Well, good morning, everybody. When you hear that sound, you know it's time for a Wednesday edition of Ben and Wood. So lovely to be here with all of you, all you Tier 1s out there listening. Really appreciate the effort that you make every single day to make it a point to get up and turn this radio program on. It just is a dream come true. 2 weeks from today, we'll be doing our final show of the year, the Christmas and Holiday Extravaganza. Hard to imagine, man. Just 2 more weeks of 2023, at least for us. And then we will retreat into the darkness, and we will get in the lab and figure out how to make this thing great and better next year. Going to be tough to top this year. This year's been pretty amazing. But, again, lovely to be here with you. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He is the executive producer, amateur drug dealer this morning. Did bring me an Adderall because I am ADHD. I don't know if you guys knew that. But I forgot my backpack. I left the whole thing at home. Just walked out the door without it and just panicked. Caught Paulie at about 4:50 this morning before he left the house. I said, dig around, find one, bring it to me. And he did, and I thank you because I've been up since 1:30. So I am like, I needed it. So I'm running this morning on coffee and protein and Adderall and Spite. Pretty much. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor who never runs on Spike.
What's the opposite of ADHD? Because I think I may have that, and it's not a great thing either.
Yeah,
I like it overly focused on something, and
obsessive
like
compulsive.
My attention is just on whatever it's on,
Obsessive
and you
compulsive.
can't break my attention. It's
Right.
like my attention is so focused on something that I'm oblivious to other things at times.
That's obsessive compulsive. My wife suffers from obsessive compulsive disorder in certain aspects.
I'm not like one of those people that has to like pick up every speck of everything or whatever.
She's not necessarily that either.
I'm sure there's degrees.
There's
to
degrees, yeah. You're. It's weird because when I look at you sometimes and I'm like, well, he's not focused because he's not focused on the show, but you are intently focused on something else.
Right.
So it's not like you're like this. Just sitting there a load.
Yeah. And I don't bounce from one thing to the other without the attention. But let's say I am
on the show and we're talking and you're on your phone. That's a great example.
Occasionally. If I pick up my phone, I can't listen to anything else at the same time. That's it. I really can't do two things multitask at the same time.
But yeah, you lock in, you horn in. It's why it's probably a big reason why you're a good golfer. Because me on the course, I'm pretty focused for about 6 holes. And then I'm like, and I get bored and I get tired and then I lose the focus.
Yeah, I don't really think about other things when I'm on the golf course. I'm thinking about my game and the next shot and just one to the next.
It's funny you bring that up because my dad said to me when we played on Thanksgiving, he's like, it's cool that you guys all go out and play golf. You probably talk about the show and like you can plan. I go, no. Paulie and I do. Paulie and I have planned epic shows in the middle of a round.
Yeah.
Ben is like, all right, I'm going to hit a 7-iron here. What are you going to hit? About a 7? It's about 130. I usually hit my 7 about, and I'm like.
People, business golf. Hey, we're going to do a business meeting on the golf course. No, if I'm on the golf course, I can only focus on the golf while I'm on the golf course.
That's exactly right. So that's you maybe have a little bit of that. So check this out.
All right, I'm dying to hear about this.
I got.
Who are we going to piss off today?
I got the text to end all texts yesterday. We opened the show with Queens of the Stone Age, and on Wednesday. Yesterday, Hannah and I were taking our boys to get their first real official haircuts. Kind of a big day. They both are long-haired hippies. So took them down. As we're driving, I get a number that pops up with an 817 area code. That is the Dallas-Fort Worth area. 214 Dallas, 817 kind of Fort Worth. Grapevine, Texas, where I grew up. Then the name, it's weird. The number popped up, then the name populated. Somebody I had not spoken to I've been here 14 years in February. Somebody I haven't spoken to or seen in 14 plus years. Strap in.
Okay.
It's my buddy. It's my brother. One of my brother's close friends. The guy's name is Chris Mitchell.
14 plus years. That's a long time.
I
was in high school.
That is a long time.
Paulie, I was just graduated high school.
Paulie, I was in my 30s. Okay, so I'm damn near 50. Hey, bud, it's Mitchell. Hope you and the family are well.
Do you have the same numbers back then? No.
No, he must have gotten it from my brother, or he.
Did you have his number?
Yes, I had.
Okay,
I had his number.
It wasn't a random number.
It popped up 817, and then it popped up Mitchell. So I had it in my phone for whatever reason, but I've had this number for a while. We may have been on a text thread, had Merry Christmas from years ago, but I have nothing. There was nothing in my phone about it. Hey, bud, it's Mitchell. Hope you and the family are well. So, selfish inquiry. So I know already. All right, what could this possibly be? I'm going to go see the Queens of the Stone Age, who are one of my favorite bands, only second to Jack White and the White Stripes.
All right, so he's got similar musical interests to yourself.
Correct. I'm going to see the Queens of the Stone Age show solo on Sunday and was about to buy tickets. And then I remembered you meeting the lead singer, Josh Homme, and was wondering if you had any hookups by chance.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
If you don't, all good. Just thought I would ask. Let's break this down just a little bit. Let's break it down.
Oh, no.
So I don't hear from you for easily 14. Let's just say, let's call it a decade, just to be safe. 10 years. Easily 10 years. You remember the story I told, and I think I told it last week, of meeting Josh Homme at the steakhouse before their show, sending over a bottle of champagne. It's one of my best stories. So you remember me telling that story, and you thought to yourself, he met him, so he must get tickets for life. Also, here, and let me couch it too. Let's say
that's a step above. You got his autograph one time.
Can you
get me tickets?
When you shake a person's hand, it doesn't instantly transfer the benefits of all of that.
You're not in the inner circle.
Person. If I shake your hand, you're not on the Ben and Woods show, right? Hey, how you doing, buddy? I'm a member of Ben and Woods now. All right, so I'm speechless.
No.
My eyes roll back in my head, and I go, I couldn't believe. I showed it to my wife. I go, I can't even believe this. So here, let's couch it for a sec. Let's say he was in. Let's say he was in San Diego. That I would almost understand. Hey, man, you worked on an alternative station. Do you have any hookups for tickets? He's asking me for one ticket to the Dallas show this Sunday because I met Josh Homme at a steakhouse over a decade ago. Hang on. You know what, Chris? Let me call Josh real quick and just see
how many you need. 12?
What do you need?
I'm looking forward to step 2 of this process, though, which is, yes, actually, I do have 800 tickets to that show, but unfortunately, you're number 801 on the list because I haven't talked to you in a decade.
They're spoken for. I couldn't believe it. And so I sat there. And I read it, and I read it again to think maybe I'm missing something.
That's incredible.
I'm reading it again. I was about to buy tickets and remember, Woodsy met Josh Homme. He must get free tickets to the Queens of the Stone Age shows. Not only to where he lives, nationwide. I'm going to Brussels next year. Can you get me tickets to that show? So I wrote, I wish. I had to pay for my tickets. I'm seeing him on Sunday. And he said, Irvine, are you going to the Irving show? Irving's in Texas on Sunday. I go, no, San Diego next Friday. And then he gave me the thumbs up and I won't hear from him in 14 more years until they're 70-year-old Queens of the Stone Age is playing the Sphere.
Well, I'm sure when the Rangers and Padres play in the World Series in 2037, you used to work at the Padres station, right?
You
can get me World Series tickets,
you guys,
I'm sure.
It was so next level.
You can get Fernando to show up to my kid's birthday party.
It was so next level. I texted it to my brother. My brother just sent me the eye roll because that's his buddy. And he just goes, it's priceless. It's just classic Mitchell. He is the same guy. We talk about it to this day. I've told you guys about one of my best friends. His name's Mark Bauman. He was kind of my mentor, kind of still is my mentor. He sent him an email when Mark was in the radio business, and the subject line, and we say it to this day, was venue question. So Bauman opens the email. He's like, venue question? He was asking him for tickets to something at a certain venue. So still to this day, Bauman will go, he'll just text me, venue question. So I sent him this screenshot yesterday. He goes, it's got to be a bit. You're doing a bit on me. I go, no. It's still happening.
Question. When you do need to ask someone for a favor, or you know someone who can hook you up with something, when you send them the email, do you put in the subject line, like, tickets, or, hey, need a favor, or do you...
Check it in.
How do you approach that? Do you
hope this email finds you well.
Do you like, ease into it, or do you just go right off the top? Like, this is what I'm doing, transparency, here's why I'm reaching out, I'm looking for something.
You tell us. You tell us.
Just go through your outbox.
Go through your...
You're telling me you've never reached out to someone for a favor or for something.
So
even if it's not tickets, I'm just saying, like, I need a favor from someone.
Yeah. What I'll say is, hey, I need a favor.
Yeah. You just right off the top. You don't try to hide it somewhere in the text of a longer email.
No, I asked for
just
what I
admit
want.
it right off the top. This is why I'm emailing.
I texted somebody we all know, I need a favor. And I need a favor for the Christmas and holiday show. And I was talking to Hannah about it this morning on my way out the door. I do a lot of favors for people. I do a lot of favors. Yes, I do a lot of favors for this particular person. You know what's worse than asking for a favor? Demanding a favor. Saying to that person, hey, bud, do a lot for you.
You don't want to have to list.
Yes,
so I've done this, and this, and this for you.
So
it's time now to call in that shit.
He listens. He listens. I'm going to catch some S for this. You know who you are. I need you for 1 minute. That's all I need you for. You know I love you. You know I take care of you. You know I'm going to continue to take care of you. I need you for I need you for 60 seconds. And you know who you are. And he'll hear this probably Friday because he's usually a couple days behind. I love you and I need you. And I'm cashing this MFR in right now. I'm cashing it in on the air. So, the favor thing is really, really tough. When it comes to tickets, when I moved here, I worked with a lot of people that were very, very cheap and in the music business. And I learned almost off the bat, just buy your tickets. If you also, like, that supports the band that you love so much, just buy the tickets. That way you're assured of going, you get to go, and you are supporting the art that you love to support. I try to buy their record. I stream like a madman, 61,000 hours or something. But I also buy records, and I try to do that to support that. So I was working with these guys, and it was just constant, just the constant bugging people for tickets. I went, I can't do it. I cannot do it. So every now and then, like, I hit up Adam for Holiday Bowl tickets for a friend. He said, no, but I can buy them early. I said, great, let's do that. You know, we'll handle that. But you're right, man. That's a tough. Just come right out and ask. I mean, I guess you could say he did. He came right out and asked me, hey, you met Josh Homme. You get tickets for life. Wouldn't that be cool? You meet somebody and you're like, sorry, sucker. Like you meet Fernando Tatis Jr. You have pot race tickets for the rest of your life.
I met Magic Johnson when I was 14. I'm actually a part owner of the
Lakers and the Washington Commanders. Yeah. So really, really interesting text. Not the only texts that I got yesterday. I'm sure people...
I was wondering because, of course, if you were with us yesterday at this time, we had kind of a spicy open.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if there was any fallout on your guys' part.
For sure. We'll get to that. Up on that.
We'll get to that coming up from yesterday's discussion about requesting a certain head coach interview from a certain local university. It's our Daily Ditty coming up next. The theme this week, songs with commonly misheard, mistaken lyrics. Paulie's got the choice today. And then we'll get into winter meetings talk. A little more movement yesterday, but really it's been a mostly very quiet 2 days now in Nashville, Tennessee. Sammy Levitt's still our man on the scene. He's going to be with us later. We'll put him back a little deeper into the show. Hopefully something goes down this morning, especially involving the San Diego Padres, who have been one of the quiet teams so far at the winter meetings. Jordan Schusterman from Cespedes Family Barbecue is also there. He's going to check in at 7:35. Did have a trade between the Red Sox and Yankees that some people think is impactful of Juan Soto trade discussions between the Padres and the Yankees. We can discuss that coming up as well. Get to all of our regular features. Take on Woods, Don't Do This. All coming up on a Wednesday, halfway through the week with Ben and Woods. Let's check traffic with Kelly, and we are off and running on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Come on, dude. Don't fool me.
Yes, a lot of people think he's saying wrapped, but it's revved.
That's not what a lot...
Oh, is that not true? Revved up like a deuce.
What's a deuce?
Another runner in the night.
Is that a poop?
I don't know. Why would it be revved up if it was?
No idea.
Wrapped up like a poop?
A deuce is probably some sort of car, right?
Yeah, that would make sense.
Revved up like a deuce.
Cars get revved up.
But he says wrapped up like a deuce. Well, he just says it. Hey, I'm sorry, Adam. I know you hate that word, but I'm
not saying it. He's saying it.
I just said it. Journalistic integrity.
Manfred
Now, this is Manfred Mann and his Earth Band, but the person you actually have to ask...
Oh, Deuce Coupe. That makes sense.
...about the lyrics is not Manfred Mann. It's Bruce Springsteen who actually wrote this song.
I had no idea.
Did you not know that?
No, you could have gotten me on that.
This is actually a Bruce Springsteen song that was covered much more
by the light,
and
wrapped up like a deuce, another runner in the night. That's how it would have sounded. Blinded by the light.
He did record it. You can find it somewhere.
Wrapped up like a deuce.
His version is out there.
I'll just take your word for it.
He wrote that song, but Manfred Mann and his Earth Band are the ones that made it a little more famous out there.
I know what the lyrics say.
Sure, but I know what you said.
But the first time I heard that, and every time after that.
Yep, I sing it.
You know what he's saying.
I have never actually, I can't make it out to where it says
Have you ever sang with that song and said revved up?
No, but
like
also when
I
listen to it clearly, I can't hear him say revved up like a deuce, another runner in the night. Never.
Revved up like a deuce, another runner in the night.
Clear as
You
day.
can hear the sh.
Yes.
The sh.
Revved up like a deuce.
Come on, bro. Isolate just that.
Deuce.
What?
A deuce.
Right.
Douche. It's a douche.
A deuce.
I mean,
douche.
All right, maybe I heard it on the third time. One more time.
A deuce.
One more time.
Deuce.
Wrapped up like a deuce.
All right, maybe I heard deuce that time. Only took me 7 times of isolating it. Holy cow. All right, yeah. Deuce is a little deuce coupe. And Springsteen lyric was cut loose like a deuce.
Cut loose like a deuce.
That could be about poop, actually.
But it's one of the more famously misheard lyrics. So excellent choice by Paulie today for our daily ditty. So did anyone get any, I didn't, so I'm assuming you guys didn't, because I felt like after yesterday's discussion about the San Diego State athletic department and our request that was turned down to talk to their head coach.
Requests.
If anyone was going to hear about it, it was going to be me. And I didn't get anything. I saw tier ones.
We talked about it for 30 minutes. Maybe you missed it. This was not like we made one request for Sean Lewis a week after his press conference.
We didn't get it.
Got denied, and we just went and completely, essed our pants about it. This has been going on for about 4 years?
4 to 5 years. Yeah, and, listen, I had...
ask yourself, tier one. When was the last time you heard anybody from San Diego State on this show?
Yeah, other than Coach Fisher and Ted Leitner.
Who's not affiliated with the school anymore.
Right.
We get them on our own. I'll wait.
Yeah, and I had some time to think about it yesterday, and it meant a lot to me. I did not hear from anybody over there, that's par for the course, nor was I expecting to. I think now we know for sure, well, they got what they wanted. We won't be asking for anything ever again, just so you know. That being said, I did get I got a DM and I got a text from a couple of local media members yesterday applauding the stance. And here's just a quote. They have always been arrogant and incompetent, which is a brutal combination. So that was a pretty damning one that I got. And then I got another one, and I will read you that quickly. No, you're not alone in your frustration with SDSU. They do nothing to promote. This was a person that was trying to get a credential. They shut him down 6 times and then said they flat out said they weren't interested after 6 times. It's just, again, I thought about it yesterday a lot. I talked to a couple people about it because my nature, the way I'm wired, is I go off. And then I feel kind of bad, but I found myself not really feeling bad yesterday. And I don't want to rehash the whole thing, but they're doing the football program a big disservice, and the students and the alumni. Paulie was getting texts from alumni yesterday, and then the players, right? Like, promote that product. It's not a great one now. You got to get butts in that. You have a new stadium to fill. We're not going to hurt you.
The sentiment that I got all day yesterday from friends and listeners was, that just sucks. Like,
it's just bad business.
That's just
dude.
like,
that's what it comes down to.
That makes me feel bad that the program that I love and support isn't has no interest in growing the program.
That's what it boiled down to. So that's where I'll leave it. It was nice to get those texts from the people.
I saw some people say, "Well, I mean, do you guys stop the Padres from putting people on other stations?" No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. They
it's smart business.
I mean, we like to have them first if they're going to make a player or manager, coach available, but they absolutely can go on other radio stations and do. That's not. There's no law that says just because you have a flagship that you can't put a guest on anywhere else. Correct. So now
there were a lot of people saying things like, "Well, you guys only talk Padres. You don't talk about anything else."
It's not true. You can't stop him from talking Aztecs.
The San Diego Gulls reached out to us. We're having an interview on Friday this week. The
Seals.
San Diego. What did I say?
Gulls.
But we had Matt Savant from the Gulls
San Diego
a couple
Gulls
weeks ago
reached out to us,
Yeah.
asked for an interview. We let Matt Savant come in studio. USD has asked us to pitch an interview. We've accommodated.
We like to help.
We have no problem.
Yeah, we
doing that.
We want to be good community members.
We absolutely want to help. I offered to help the program and really wanted to talk to the new coach. But listen, the requests were denied. They've been denied. They've been ignored. There's only so much that you can take after a while, and you just go, cool, you got what you wanted. Now, then I saw who they're opening the season against.
Texas A&M.
Commerce. And
Commerce is a good thing.
Commerce is a really good
we
thing.
need it for the economy, so that's a good combo. It's Texas A&M, big-time football
A&M
program,
money?
and Commerce, which is always good, and, the economy. And
they're opening against Texas A&M Commerce. I'm from Texas. I've never heard of them. But, hey, with that kind of matchup, week one, you don't need me. You're good.
You didn't attend Texas A&M Commerce at some point?
It's one of the few that I missed.
Are you sure you didn't go there for a semester, half a semester?
When you get a matchup like that,
a week, and someone brought you home in a stupor.
When you get a matchup like that on week one, you don't need us. You don't. That speaks for itself.
Commerce, Texas, just outside of the Dallas-Fort Worth metro.
You lived there.
I never heard of it.
65 miles outside of downtown Dallas.
It sounds like your neighborhood.
What's the enrollment? 17.
Just under 11,000 students.
Okay. I literally never heard of it.
It's like BYU Hawaii.
It's
an
offshoot.
It's an offshoot of the Texas A&M system, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, I told everybody that was last night's basketball game was going to be a very tough one.
Watch the entire
trap
thing.
game.
Oh my God.
In fact, I told you, I think off the air, I know you like to bet on games. I would go with Grand Canyon in that game last night. Did you make money at least?
I did not.
You did not. You did not listen to me. You did not take my advice on that one.
I also did not bet on that game.
Really?
Because I was going to
I
bet.
made so few recommendations to you guys.
We fade Ben. That's
We
the rule.
fade Ben. Yeah.
But it made very good sense.
Yeah.
And I agreed with you. And I just thought this is one of those games where if I bet on Grand Canyon to win some money here, and San Diego State rolls them,
You just
I'd be
doubly
like, you
in the
moron.
torture chamber
Of course
from
they beat
yesterday.
them.
Yeah. I mean, it was, I don't even consider it that big of an upset. They lost 79-73 last night. Aztecs have a problem in finishing out halves in games. Other than that UCSD comeback,
100%.
they just seem to peter out, and it's the lack of depth that's hurting them off the bench. Jaden Ledie's great, another double-double, but he can't do it by himself.
Save this, because we will do a segment on the game last night. I watched the entire thing, and I got to tip my hat to that university. I can't have watched that game last night, and I was absolutely enthralled and amazed with those sheer lunatics there.
GCU, they're
bananas.
I've been there. It is insane.
It's like one of the craziest things I've ever seen, man.
Why you would go play that? We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it.
We got to get into the
Let's get some
the
winter
trade that happened
meetings.
yesterday. Does it affect the Padres? Yankees fans are panicking about the Juan Soto trade rumors this morning.
Well, and now Padre fans are panicking. I am in full-blown panic.
We'll get to all of that coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So it was bubbling a little bit. Put a little sauce on the oven. You go and get the pasta and the salad.
Sauce on the stove.
On the stove, I mean.
Stove, yeah.
Not on the oven. On the stove, you put it you empty the jar into the saucepan.
You're not making this homemade?
No.
Tomatoes, a little oregano.
Turn it on. Right. You go make the salad, and you heat up, and you see the little, just a couple of little
simmering.
Sometimes it jumps out.
A light simmer. It splatters. I hate that.
Gets on the oven a little, or the stove a little bit. And in Texas, we call everything an oven, just so you know. That's why I keep doing that. So we call it an oven.
Let's pop it in the oven for 2 minutes. It's the microwave.
There is no stove. Everything's an oven. Just everything is an oven. Where you bake it, where you...
What do you put bread in to make it crispy?
An oven. Not a toaster.
First time I met somebody that, born and raised, grew up in the South, they called every soda was a Coke.
It's a Coke. What kind of Coke you want? Dr. Pepper. Thank you.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. Hey, give me a Coke. What do you want? Sunkist.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, a Fanta. It's an orange Coke.
Everything's Coke.
What?
Everything's Coke. It's weird. It's true. It's absolutely true. Absolutely. Get some Cokes at the store. Okay, I'll get some Sprite.
It's like saying, what kind of beef do you want? Chicken.
Right. Yeah, no. Everything's a Coke.
Yes.
Anyway, we digress. The stove was simmering a little bit yesterday, Benjamin. And I think we all felt, all the Padre fans I saw when it first happened, the Alex Verdugo trade to the New York Yankees, everyone immediately goes, yes, great. They're out of the running for Juan Soto. That's Brian Cashman's hearty F you to the Padres and to A.J. Preller. And he said, watch what I can do without you, buddy. And he went out and acquired Alex Verdugo, who is not the world's best baseball player. He is just not. He's about as mid gets.
Now, he was the centerpiece of the Mookie Betts Dodgers Red Sox trade a few years ago.
Sure was.
Supposed to be the big star coming back to the Red Sox, the prospect of the future, who has never really totally panned out.
They have one player left from that deal, the Boston Red Sox do. So when you go into trading a superstar of a Mookie Betts caliber, or I don't know, if we had an example, Juan Soto, this is why you ask for 6-7 pieces, whatever you can do to try to even it out a little bit, because the Red Sox are such a cautionary tale.
But isn't it short-sighted of Padres fans to be happy about the Yankees potentially moving on from the Juan Soto talks?
My initial thing was, yes, all right, they're done, suckers. And then I went, I remembered I had seen an article about A.J. Preller's interest in one Alex Verdugo, who does, by the way, I believe share an agent with Manny and Tatis. So I went, they're going to flip him to us. He's a more attractive piece for what we need than a Clark Schmidt.
I had that thought as well.
He's not attractive, but he's more attractive than the Clark Schmidt deal.
If I'm right, teams never flip guys that they just immediately acquired. Oh wait, the Braves did it last night.
They did it last night.
Yeah,
Paulie, it was a 5-minute window of bliss, and then immediately it popped in my head. I went, yep, he's going to be a Padre. We are going to be interviewing Alex Verdugo in 3 months.
I did. I had the thought, Brian Cashman thought process. We need outfielders. Alex Verdugo is not my top choice, but if we have to go into the season, that's at least an upgrade from where we are. Or we go with Juan Soto and we can use Alex Verdugo as a major league ready piece that's already up in the big leagues, because the Padres will need outfielders if they trade Juan Soto. So it kind of works either way, if that is a possibility. They also need multiple outfielders. The Yankees may still be interested in Juan Soto with Alex Verdugo in their outfield as well. So
that could also be
really
the case.
In no way does this change the circumstances or the equation when it comes to Padres Juan Soto trade discussions, even with the New York Yankees. I don't think all of a sudden they're under less pressure to acquire Juan Soto because they got Alex Verdugo. In fact,
are not.
If they looked at their Twitter mentions, if they looked at their fans on social media, they're probably feeling even more heat today, because Yankees fans were not big celebrating the acquisition of Alex Verdugo yesterday.
When I tell you that Brian Cashman, Ben, over the last 5 years or so, has added damn near every player that the New York Yankees fans hate. It's almost like a bit at this point. You know how we did the Padres did the bit in the draft of just drafting like sexy names. He was like, who does our fan
They like start with Johnny Damon and go from there.
It was Damon, it was Ellsbury, then it was Kevin Youkilis was a Yankee, then it was recently it was Josh Donaldson, and they're like, bro, what are you doing? Like, and they loathe Alex Verdugo. The Yankees and Red Sox don't traditionally make a lot of trades.
I think it was only
like 3 or 4. Or
they're ninth since 1969 or something. It's not many.
It was just people that they straight up hated. It wasn't more of the, well, you hate him, but you'd love him if he was on your team.
No, it was like
that exists.
They threw a baseball at Alex Verdugo out in right field, and he wanted to fight
going around yesterday.
Yeah, so they really, really hate Alex Verdugo. So, but what it comes down to now, Benny, is can A.J. Preller hold firm? Does that move put more pressure on Brian Cashman? Hey, I just acquired a guy that our fan base hates. He probably doesn't care because he keeps doing it year after year. If you can flip him, I mean, it's not an attractive package to me. Now, I don't know what else would be attached, but you're still talking about trading Juan Soto at the end of the day and getting a Verdugo and a Michael King or a Clark Schmidt or whatever back. It still doesn't. It's not gonna make me happy. I'm not gonna be happy when the deal goes through if it does. And again, there's smoke last night. There's smoke this morning. People really, really feeling like this deal is going to get done.
Andy Martino from SNY said he's sensing optimism in the Yankees Soto talks this morning. What does that even mean? I have no idea. You get one text, yeah, no, things are going well. I mean, you can say I'm sensing optimism, but I don't know if that has any basis in reality. But yeah, it's been a very quiet winter meeting so far. That was if Alex Verdugo going to the Yankees consists of the biggest move that we've really seen, then it's been a very quiet winter meetings.
I was watching MLB Network all day yesterday, and they were losing their minds about the lack of stories coming out of the winter meetings.
Yeah.
They kept showing Jim Bowden's tweet like every 20 minutes. Break the dam, let's go, guys.
Yeah, so as of this morning, Yankees have intensified efforts to acquire Juan Soto, which is exactly what you wanted. You didn't want to take their first offer. And then them getting Verdugo doesn't make you panic if you're A.J. Preller at all. Doesn't make you go, oh, God, they're going to move on. You don't have to trade him, right? You just don't have to if allegedly. There's also rumors that Craig Kimbrell will now be a Baltimore Oriole. Would be the closer because their closer Bautista will not be ready next year. He is just the hired gun, moving around city to city, closing games. So Craig Kimbrell and the Orioles are close to a deal. There were a couple other moves.
You had a former Padre moving on yesterday as well. Get to that. Quick check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Starting to see the usual bunching up in the usual spots, guys, including that westbound 52 heading out of Santee. But fortunately, no incidents, no accidents, no surprises getting in your way. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So the Los Angeles Angels signed Luis Garcia, former Padres bullpen arm, to a 1-year, $4.25 million deal. And I kind of scratched my head over that for a few minutes last night, just trying to... What does that mean? Luis Garcia was making more with the Padres the last couple of years after he signed, wasn't he about the same, I think, after signing from the St. Louis Cardinals. Had a really good 2022, or at least pretty good 2022, was horrible for the first, 3 or 4 months last year. Finished somewhat strong, though, the last couple of months. And is that a fair price in your mind for Luis Garcia?
Yeah.
Should the Padres have been interested in Luis Garcia at that price? I just don't know.
Ben asked that question before. He was so up and down. He would have those outings where he'd come out and you're like, God dang, dude. Like, how does he ever give up a hit? His stuff can be so filthy at times. May have been time, Benny, for a change of...
I mean, he was complete mop-up duty for 3 months in that season until maybe at the very end when Bob Melvin started trusting him a little bit in higher leverage situations. But He was nothing but like, can we get him an inning of work because we're up by 9?
And even some of those outings
were iffy.
Ended up being, now we're up by 4.
And even a guy like that is getting over $4 million.
Seems right
to pitch in a bullpen.
Seems right. You know what you sign him for? You sign him on the prospect of his stuff. You're
looking for a bounce back.
Yeah, you're looking for a bounce back, and you're looking for a guy in the middle of your bullpen. I don't know what the Angels really have. They need some help in pitching wise.
But
they always
so do
do.
the Padres.
So do the Padres. Yeah, they do. They do. I'm not mad. I'm not mad that we lost Luis Garcia for 4 million.
I don't think anyone is. I don't know that there's a Padres fan in our audience who is going, man, what an idiotic move. The Padres let him get away for only $4.25 million. But we're scarred by the bad outings that he had last season. The Angels can look at it and go, trending the right direction. Last month and a half was pretty good. He had an ERA under 2, I think, at that point. If we get that pitcher, we're getting him for a steal at $4.25 million. He might even be our setup guy next season.
Here's the numbers right here. Satan's Blowfish has them for us in the chat. His last 21 appearances, he had a 1.96 ERA. Someone thinks they're going to fix or get more of that. The Angels think they're going to get more of that. And if they do, it will look like a really, really smart deal by Perry Manassian. If he ends up as is projected to, I just checked his projections, he's at about around the same. His projections for next season, that's got him at about a 4.13 ERA, couple of saves, a lot of strikeouts, big strikeout guy. But so I'm not mad. AJ Preller has never let us down finding guys like that. So
that's true.
He can find guys like that. I'm not too worried.
At maybe even less price than $4.25 million.
My man could probably get 2 for that price. He really could. I have faith in him in that regard.
Yeah, and they're probably not going to be established major league names. They'll be guys who are pitching in Japan or Korea or Mexico or somewhere else that he has scouted that he feels like can make an impact fairly quickly at a lower price point than what Luis Garcia would have come back to be your 6th inning guy at best or mop up guy at worst. You don't want to pay a mop up guy $4 million.
Back to Verdugo though. I saw last year he had a WRC plus, weighted runs created plus of 98, right? So 100 is
slightly below average player.
Below average. Angelo just tweeted, hey, hitters usually really get better when they come to the Padres, right? And last year he batted .264, he had 13 bombs, 54 ribs, OPS is 745. It's just, you're obviously not going to compare it 1-to-1. Obviously Juan Soto's much
He's also nowhere near as good defensively as like a Trent Grisham or someone like that.
What is his control? Do you know? I don't know his contract situation.
He still has,
I don't even know.
I can look it up. I think he's got at least 2 more, if not 3 more years.
I don't know
if
he's coming back. I don't know that he's coming back. He's
he's only got 1 more year. This is his last year of control. He's estimated to make about 9 to 10 million in arbitration this year. So
I don't know how much you guys want to put in John Boy, but he has sources in New York. We know that. He says it's done. He said they're checking medicals. I need a barf bag.
But no names. He doesn't say who's coming.
Alex Verdugo trade is done. They're checking medicals, right?
Now, this was recently. This was 3 minutes ago. Jack Curry tweets, when a trade of this magnitude with a superstar in Soto and 4 or 5 other players is being sorted out, many issues need to be resolved, including medicals. And when multiple pitchers are involved, those various injury histories need to be reviewed. It's all part of the process.
I don't know. I just looked at that tweet, and then John Boy goes, "Yeah, so it's done.
Yeah, so
they're
it's
just
done.
checking medicals and hoping they don't run into another Cliff Lee, David Adams situation." That sounded more like he's speculating based on that tweet that he just read, not that he's heard anything.
Okay, he does have. He has Aaron Boone on his show every week. He knows people up there.
No, he does. But this tweet from Jack Curry that you just saw is simply a statement of fact. When a trade of this magnitude,
right? But John Boyce is like, yeah, so it's done.
I can.
All right, I'm not going to.
I don't think you'd say it that way. If you had a source, you'd say something like, "Yeah, I'm hearing it's done," or "It's done." I agree. It's
Are
done.
you smoking copium right now?
I just
it over?
I just don't want to mislead our audience into thinking that there is some sort of trade being reported. I don't read that in that tweet yet. All right, more on this coming up. Take on Woods next on 97.3 The Fan. We're definitely seeing reports of momentum and talks intensifying between the Yankees and Padres involving a Juan Soto trade this morning. We'll keep you up to date here on Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan if any news officially breaks. Now, these are all, again, coming out of New York.
Yeah.
Where they've kind of been talking about this for a couple weeks now. I mean, they've been aspirational. Like, the Yankees need to make this happen, so we're just going to will it into existence. A.J. Preller remains a very stubborn general manager, and if he doesn't get what he is looking for, I still can see him waiting.
Sure.
I'm not saying that he is determined to keep Juan Soto. Obviously, he's listening and will trade Juan Soto if the deal is right. But A.J. is not going to be pressured by the New York media just because they tweet a lot, okay, well, let's just do this because let's get it over with. And, well, I guess we'll take Clark Schmidt because what? You're tweeting me into bullying me into making a trade at this point? That's not going to happen from the Padres side. We know that.
No, it's not. It's not. So I'm not going to panic yet, aren't I? Aren't I internally? It's the reverse of what I felt on Juan Soto Day when we got him just a short time ago. Remember that day we could barely talk, like we were just refreshing. We had to do a radio show at the same time where you're like, yeah, that's great, just waiting for something to drop. This one feels obviously a little bit different. It's going to hurt, to be sure. My little guy's probably going to be really, really bummed. Big Juan Soto fan, and it's the stuff that you're going to miss that production, man. And I know everyone. We had to sell Juan Soto a lot last year, which is odd to me and remains odd. But you're going to miss that production in the lineup, certainly.
We'll see if it actually happens.
Never fun to trade future Hall of Famers.
Correct. Yeah, it's always a tough look.
Yeah.
Tough look.
Now, is it softened at all by the fact that they picked him up a year and a half ago? It's not as though you developed him in your minor leagues and you envisioned him necessarily as a Padre for life.
But when you got him,
like a Dave Winfield or an Ozzie Smith type.
The day you got him, you're like, geez, dude, like that's the core. Now we finally got the core, 4 that we need, and it just didn't work. It didn't work. That's the I can hang my hat on that too a little bit. Is it didn't work for whatever reason, and then many have speculated it just didn't.
Even
work.
On the day he was acquired, though, the stories were already out. It's going to be very hard to sign him because Scott Boras likes to take his guys all the way to free agency, and even if the Padres come with a large offer, there's no guarantee that he's going to say yes. He already said no to the Washington Nationals to a record deal.
We
knew this was a possibility.
We did, but with Peter Seidler at the helm. You didn't just. I kind of knew it in my soul that he was going to be here with Peter in charge. I did. I thought there's no way Peter Seidler lets this kid get away, and obviously a lot of circumstances have changed since then. So I am going to. It's going to sting like a madman today when he gets moved, and if he gets moved today. In fact, I don't want to speak that into existence. I do feel that it is going to happen. I hope it stings, man. I hope it stings the Yankees for years to come, dude. I really do. And, the tough part is those guys that do end up coming back if this trade goes down, even Alex Verdugo, like, they deserve a fair shot to come in and produce and perform, but you're always going to be the guy that – he was the guy that got traded for Mookie Betts. Now he's going to be the guy that gets traded potentially for Juan Soto. It's not a great career arc to be a part of.
Well, as most trades, evolve over the years. How many times did we revisit the Trey Turner deal? Like, oh, this is a terrible deal for the Padres. Trey Turner's killing it. And then Trey Turner was out for 2 years, and Will Myers was, an all-star. And we go, hey, this trade doesn't look so bad. And then now, after a few years, it started looking really bad again. They go kind of through these periods where I'm sure you're going to say, oh, this was a horrible deal, and then all of a sudden you go, well, look at all the different pieces they've gotten. I don't know. You can't evaluate it the second the trade goes down. I mean, you will, but you can't.
I think
you will never know until all is said and done many years down the road whether it was a good or bad trade. Now, like with the Verdugo Mookie Betts trade, we can pretty much now say pretty bad trade for the Boston Red Sox to give up Mookie Betts and not get anything long-term solidified that they got in that puzzle to make up for the loss of Mookie Betts. Can the Padres get something that comes close to making up for the loss of one season of Juan Soto? I mean, you're not making up for the loss of decades of Juan Soto.
None of those prospects have materialized. None of them. And that's the thing with getting prospects back. None of them have materialized. So but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes prospects materialize.
I get it. And you need to be right occasionally if you're gonna get to a World Series and win a title. You got to be right on some of these deals, both ways. You got to be right when you give up prospects for superstars and think, I'm just not sure about the prospects we're giving up, but I'm positive about this guy we're getting. And you got to be right the other way as well. When you give up star players, You got to be right on the younger guys you're getting back and correctly scout that they can help you out.
Yep.
Need a contestant for Take on Woods. Going to play here in a couple of minutes. We already have 2 qualifiers. First 2 days, 2 ties. Both go to the listener, and qualifying for not only a trip to Vegas, we got steak dinner, we got concert tickets to Barry Manilow. 833-288-0973. Join us now, 833-288-0973. We'll play our musical trivia game in a couple of minutes. This hour of Ben and Woods is brought to you by Smart and Final. This holiday season, shop groceries and baking needs in one trip, and that's it at Smart and Final. Padres need some luck. They didn't get any yesterday in the MLB draft lottery.
Walk me through this entirely.
There's not really much to walk through.
I want you to.
The Cleveland Guardians overcame some long odds.
How long?
I think they had a 2% chance of getting the number 1 pick.
Wow.
And they got it. Their numbers came up. Their ping pong balls materialized, and they got the number 1 overall selection. Padres needed to be one of the 6 teams drawn in order to keep their pick at top 6. They didn't, which means they were penalized 10 spots for going over the luxury tax. So the Padres will pick 25th in the draft next summer. Not
24th, I thought.
I think it ended up being 25th.
Oh, okay, cool.
Based on teams that hopped ahead of them and where they ended up being. So they will pick 25th in the first round, win the draft, and that is part of going over the luxury tax. Now, it's a little different than the football draft where you see that huge value in those top few picks, and then it starts, what was Mike Trout, number 24 selection or 26 or something? But you can, if you are smart, you can get really good players later in the first round. Way better. Sometimes the first pick doesn't work out in the baseball draft. It's just not as clear-cut as some of the other sports. But it will hurt for the Padres. They go down to 25th in the draft. Did not see their name come up in the draft lottery yesterday. Maybe that means they're saving their luck for prospects they acquire if there is a Juan Soto deal that goes down today.
Trout was 25th overall in the
25th.
2009 MLB
So you can
draft.
pretty much guarantee that the next Mike Trout will be joining the Padres this summer.
I like that.
All right, we got people calling in. Why don't we get
drafted Donovan Tate that year, number 3.
Brandon Tierney. He's on New York radio.
Tiki and Tierney, yeah.
Just received a text, was told yes, was instructed by the Yankees to be prepared to add an emergency hot stove show at 2 p.m. as they believe there was a chance the Soto deal could be done by lunch. I hate it here. Where's the whiskey, the bourbon? Do we have any bourbon here, Paulie? Nice stiff cocktail.
We get that DoorDashed here?
Yeah, we could, actually.
We can.
A pack of Marlboros and a bottle of Old Crow. Let's get after it. That's weird. It's a weird... Doesn't mean anything, I guess.
I see people now retweeting breaking trade rumors from Jenna Tolles, though. So you have to be careful with the sources that you're getting right now.
Seymour Butts is
you do have to be careful with those tweets.
Oh, boy. Okay. All right. Anyway.
All right, let's get to it. Let's play a little Take on Woods. All right, you said James is our contestant? James.
Yeah, James.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing over there?
Oh, well, we're a little bit in the torture chamber at the moment, waiting for potential news that I think no one is looking forward to come down. But you might get some good news here. If you can beat or tie Woods in our musical trivia contest, we'll put you into the drawing for our 2-night stay at the Westgate Las Vegas, dinner at Edge Steakhouse, and 2 tickets to Barry Manilow at the International Theater at the Westgate. You can get your own tickets right now at Ticketmaster.com. So you get to pick our category today. Here are the choices for Take on Woods. Opposites Attract, 5 songs with pairs of opposites in the title. Say Anything, the word say, the key in all those answers. And our mystery category is back again. Your 3 choices, Opposites Attract, Say Anything, or the mystery category, James.
Let's go with mystery category.
Oh, it's back again. All right, so you don't actually get any information on this. I can just tell you that the answer on our 2-second song will give you a clue as to the rest of the answers in our category today. So Paulie's going to play some music, If you can identify the title and the artist both, we'll give you the point there, and then we'll ask the other questions, which are related to the theme from the 2-second song. James, you understand how it works?
Yes, sir.
All right. Pass if you don't know an answer. We can come back to it if there's time on the clock.
Song is your email is very confusing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't put the...
Hang on. Kill your mic. Come on, Ben. What are we doing here?
Stall for me for 1 second because I know I can...
I'm so sorry, James. Ben, this is like 3
Hey,
years
honestly,
we've been doing this.
Turn off your mic for a
I saw
second.
you guys last year, and you guys had a little technical difficulties up at the, I forget what ale house it was downtown San Diego, but same thing. it was funny.
Yeah. Well, thank you, James, for vamping for a second. Paulie's going to get the song. I wrote the artist. I didn't put the song title down. That was my mistake. I come up with a lot of these categories, though, occasionally, and I get called out for it. Like last week, I had a question where I said 1998 when I meant 1988. I apologize. I don't have a team of like fact checkers working behind me like to catch every mistake. So, all right, we are now ready to go. 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music in the mystery category. Good luck, James. Let's take on Woods.
Pass.
Thinking his name wouldn't sell, an early manager gave John Mellencamp what famous middle name?
Cougar.
Correct. Sylvester Stallone enlisted the band Survivor to write which theme song for the movie Rocky III?
Eye of the Tiger.
Correct. Which English band topped the 1983 U.S. rock charts after the release of their album Pyromania?
Pass.
Awimawe is actually part of which song originally written in Zulu that the Tokens made famous in 1961?
Oh. Pass.
Let's go back to the 2-second song.
Pass.
Which English band topped the 1983 U.S. rock charts after the release of their album Pyromania?
The Ramones.
Incorrect. Awimawe is actually part of which song originally written in Zulu? Time is up, so maybe the category, if you'd gotten the 2-second song, would have helped. The song was Stray Cat Strut by the Stray Cats, and all of our answers were a bunch of stray cats. We had Cougar, Eye of the Tiger, Def Leppard, and The Lion Sleeps Tonight. So we had all the big cats in there.
2 from James?
2 for James is your score. Hang on the line, James. We'll see if that holds up. Woodsy comes in with his shot now. Had to stall a little bit. I forgot to give the song title to Paulie today.
Just gave me the artist.
I gave him the artist. He goes, which song is it? Well, obviously. My team of fact checkers failed me on this one. But we got our questions in. James's score is locked in. Woods, your turn. 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on James.
Stray Cat Strut by the Stray Cats.
Correct. Thinking his name wouldn't sell, an early manager gave John Mellencamp what famous middle name?
John Cougar Mellencamp.
Correct. Sylvester Stallone enlisted the band Survivor to write which theme song for the movie Rocky III?
Eye of the Tiger.
Correct. Which English band topped the 1983 U.S. rock charts after the release of their album Pyromania?
Def Leppard.
Correct. Awimawe is actually part of which song originally written in Zulu that the Tokens made famous in 1961?
The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
You are 5 for 5 today and an outright win for Woodsy. James, thank you for playing.
How do you do?
He got 2.
2. All right. Valiant effort.
And it was a mystery category.
He didn't get the first song,
which helped. It was all
category.
cats. Stray Cats, Cougar, Eye of the Tiger, Def Leppard, and The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
Love the Cougar, man.
In our cat category for the day.
John Mellencamp goes in. They go, no. You're John Cougar now. He's like, excuse me?
And then eventually said John Cougar Mellencamp.
John Cougar, then just John Mellencamp.
It's like, I think my music speaks for itself at this point.
No, he's been a big fan of his, by the way.
Absolutely.
I love him. I never listen to him, but I love him. It's like AC/DC. I love AC/DC. I never listen to AC/DC. It's very, very weird, but I love them.
All right, we'll play a game of Real or Fake tomorrow on a Throwback Thursday. Give some other people a chance to qualify.
Sucking on a chili dog. Sucking on a chili dog.
That's not John Cougar.
Sucking
That's
on
his song.
Sucking on a chili dog. It's the best.
Don't Do This is coming up next. Do you have anything to bring to the table? I have some funny audio from an NHL press conference.
You're bringing the fart?
Why not? It was pretty funny.
I'm blown away. This is like Bizarro World. Hey, Buster Olney, what are we doing here, bud? Have you lost it completely?
Fair enough. That is coming up next. Ben and Woods after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Wait, so Sammy's having breakfast with the manager right now? It's manager breakfast?
Apparently, it's the manager's breakfast at the winter meetings.
Now, watch out for the omelet, is all I can say to our
Mike
beloved
Shildt
Sam
is
Levitt.
cooking up omelets for the media today. Is that how the manager's breakfast works?
What do you have? You want bell peppers in there, too? That's great, Sammy. Good to see you, bud.
Have a little more cheese, Mike?
He's like, man, this guy's really going above and beyond. This is the new Padres manager.
We didn't do that, but we were on the air, I guess, last year, when we missed the manager's breakfast.
Yeah, we were there.
We miss everything. Miss everything. Well, we got you covered today till 10 o'clock. We want to start in Don't Do This, Ben.
I don't even know where to start today.
I had to read it 40 times. And Buster Olney wrote a piece yesterday. Buster is so mad. Everyone's so mad that a young, talented Japanese, which I feel is very important in this story, his heritage is very important. They're so mad that he is not conforming and doing things like they want him to do. And he had asked for privacy. We will get to Doc Roberts. Doc Roberts is his own segment today, just so you know. We didn't forget it. Shohei wants privacy. He wants things to be done a certain way as he undertakes free agency for, I guess you could call it his second time, but true Major League Baseball free agency, right? So there was a meeting in Toronto, and Buster Olney took it to his column to write how basically Shohei did it wrong and how he's doing it wrong. And this is what he said. This is unbelievable. Imagine if Ohtani had concluded his visit with the Toronto Blue Jays with a Zoom call with reporters. He could open with an homage to the city of Toronto before describing the impressive tour of the team's new spring training complex. He could have talked about Vladdy Jr.'s power, Bo Bichette's aggressiveness at the plate, Kevin Gossman's splitter. He could have mentioned Schneider's humor, thanked Mark Shapiro and Atkins for their time. He could have capped his reflections with an observation about the Maple Leafs, about Joe Carter's home run. And he could have wrapped it up by announcing a donation to Jays Care. Say, $50,000, pocket change for a player who already makes tens of millions of dollars in endorsements, before he gets the richest contract in the history of North American professional sports to help children. He could have definitely answered a few questions from local reporters, easily deflecting the question of where he intends to play by saying he was still going through the process. Oh, my God.
And then he could have done the same thing with the Cubs, the Dodgers, and every other team he considered as well.
I can't wait for if our contract's up again and we go interview. It's $5,000 if you want to interview. You got to help kids, or you're a piece of S if you don't want to help children on your way out of the door from a job interview. Bro, these guys have lost their minds. These players do not owe them anything. The only thing they owe it to themselves, their families, if he's uncomfortable in the process and wants to do it a certain way, you know who's earned that right? Shohei Ohtani has earned that right to do it. He does not work by Buster Olney's rules.
But that's not the process. No one does that process. There's no
one's Shohei Ohtani.
No one ever has press conferences throughout their entire free agency. Did Manny do it when he was a free agent all off season?
Did Manny build a lean-to for the unhoused when he interviewed with the White Sox? What are we talking about, Buster? Why? Like, yes, he's special, and yes, he's different, and yes, he's going to make a lot of money.
Just imagine, like, a press conference where an introductory press conference, big free agent, and they're like, I'm donating $40 million to the community right off the bat. Like, that's never happened.
He's not even asking for that. He's asking about not even an introductory press conference, Paulie. He's asking him to go on a job interview and stroke a $50,000 check on his way out the door, even if he doesn't intend to sign
for every city
that he's asking.
For every city he goes. So let's say he interviews with 8 teams. So, all right, 8 donations, 8 press conferences. You have to wax poetic about every city that you've been to on this entire process. It makes
Have you lost your mind? Are you huffing paint in Nashville?
Shohei Ohtani is making the biggest decision of his life. Not putting on a dog and pony show.
I can't believe it.
For a frustrated media who all they want is for their life to be made easier with ready-made headlines at the winter meetings right now. And They're not getting it. So
I said
we know what it's like to have no content and have to fill a lot of time because we do it every day. They're not used to this.
They're dying.
They're sitting at these MLB Network tables for hours and hours on end with nothing to talk about, and they don't know what to do. So they're getting mad about it. They're getting mad that there hasn't been any trades. Ken Rosenthal wrote an entire piece this morning about how they need a deadline. Like the Wednesday of the winter meetings is last day to sign a multi-year contract in the offseason. And you brought up that idea.
You know I love the deadline idea. What I'm not going to do is tell these guys they can't request privacy. That's been a huge one. I'm not going to tell them that. Like, what I would say is move the winter meetings back, move them to January, and then this is,
I mean, remember Shohei Ohtani's MVP award ceremony when he was alone with a puppy without any people around him?
He's a different cat. He's from a different culture.
He's not someone who wants a lot of attention when it comes to this process. He wants things to be private and quiet.
I cannot wrap my head around the fact that Buster Olney is actually putting pen to paper and saying he should have stroked $50,000 to help kids. And he also talks about he's about to make the most money of anybody ever. He's earned it, dude. He's a Martian. Like, there's no one like him. Whatever he makes, he is absolutely entitled to. Oh, by the way, didn't he just send like a ass load of gloves to every kid in Japan has a new glove? Every kid in Japan has a Shohei Ohtani glove. Bro, what have you done? I hate this. I hate spending other people's money.
And then other people started echoing Buster's sentiment.
It's just absurd.
Ken Rosenthal wrote, it's time to liven up the winter
Liven
meetings.
them up. It's absurd. Let's keep it light, though. And I'm blown away that you wanted to do this. This is above
is it
you.
a don't do this or a do this?
No, this is a do this.
I mean, you really should control your flatulence in public settings, correct?
Sure.
Especially if there's news media cameras around. See if you can kind of contain it. But if you can't, it is funny when it's captured and you get a reaction. This was
this him, by the way?
This was Tampa Bay. I don't think so. I think
it was somebody in the...
I think it was someone around him. So Tampa Bay Lightning player goalie Andrei Vasilevsky.
Nailed it.
Was speaking after the game. They won 4-0, so they want to talk to the goalie about his shutout. And you've got the scrum. We've explained what a scrum is. Cameras around him discussing his performance, 25 saves, 25 shots. Very nice night. And here is the audio of said interview with Andrei Vasilevsky.
Having issues now.
And now Paulie's having issues.
Play it from my phone or something?
No, I'm pulling it up on a different site.
It's all right, buddy.
We had it.
Now, according to the story in the big lead, it was one of his Lightning teammates that was maybe like next to him.
I wonder if he was doing it as a bit.
Outside, but the microphones definitely picked up the noise.
There was a question in the chat. Have you ever done that on camera?
No.
Could you?
No. I don't think so.
I would like it.
Woods, what about you?
Sure. Not on, I did it. Yeah, I've done it loud before, and people have been around. But I don't do TV, so.
Right. But you're on YouTube now every morning.
I am. Would you do it for me?
I can't.
I
can't do it on command. Can you?
No, I can't do it on command. Don't try either. You kids listening out there, don't try that at all.
That's bad. All right, finally we got the audio here.
Thank you.
What's gone through your mind in the last 48 hours from the end of the game on Saturday to the start of this one?
Obviously it wasn't great feeling last game, but
I heard it. Background, yeah.
Cracks up laughing.
What was the question?
The start of this one?
Obviously it wasn't great feeling last game, but what was the question?
You cannot keep it together. I love it anytime we find it. Paulie sent it to me last night. I wrote back, thank God, because I miss it so much. What is happening over there?
Got ads popping up.
We are wheels off.
Good segment for it.
Yeah,
It's don't and do this for a Wednesday.
All right, we got some updates.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Mark Feinsand just tweets, Ben. He is a reporter for Major League Baseball. He says, while the trade of Juan Soto is appearing very likely, a source said that Jake Cronenworth is also a potential trade possibility for the Padres. I had asked you to respect my family's privacy at this time, as I am never,
okay, Shohei.
I am probably never making love to my
John
wife again.
Rossi tweeted during this last segment here 10 minutes ago, Alex Verdugo expected to stay with Yankees in near term as opposed to being moved to San Diego in a Juan Soto trade. That is gaining momentum.
Okay.
Stay tuned at MLB Network.
All right, we will come back. Sammy's at the breakfast. He's ordering his omelet and trying to sneak in questions about a Juan Soto trade. Yeah, I'll have the peppers and the ham. And are you trading Juan Soto and some jack cheese, please? See if he can get anything surreptitiously out of Mike Shildt at the manager's breakfast. He'll join us when that is over. Later on, we'll have Jordan Schusterman from the winter meetings in Nashville as well. So lots of coverage coming up. Want to talk, as you mentioned, though, about Dave Roberts and what was potentially a giant faux pas at the meetings yesterday. We'll get to that coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Are Dave Roberts and the Dodgers front office experiencing a disconnect? Reads the headline in the LA Times this morning. Get into that coming up here. Don't forget, you can tune in to Kickoff with Boomer and Valente Friday nights at 6 p.m. here on 97.3 The Fan. It is presented nationally by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos brought to you by those who drink it, and by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement. Get it on the free Odyssey app as well. Everyone is saying Dave Roberts absolutely stepped in it yesterday at the baseball winter meetings, and he very well may have. He very well may have. I just don't know. Is it his fault? Or is it the Dodgers front office's fault for what happened yesterday?
I don't know how you could be the skipper of the Los Angeles Dodgers and not know that you're not supposed to mention the meeting that you had with Shohei Ohtani. I think
that's my question.
Bo is 5, and I think Bo knows and he's not supposed to mention our meeting with Shohei Ohtani.
I have also seen a lot of people in pro sports who don't follow all the media intricacies the way the fans and we do. And if someone didn't tell him, hey, we need to keep this quiet. Do you think that's something you know or don't know?
I asked the question, and I need an answer to it. How does the skipper of the Los Angeles Dodgers not know that? If you can blame whoever you want on,
someone has to tell you. Someone has to tell you something though before you know it.
It's everywhere. It is like one of the more interesting
we knew it
stories.
Before Dave Roberts met with the media yesterday.
Yeah, we knew it 10 days ago.
We did.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that everyone follows baseball media that closely.
But what about Dave Roberts?
A lot of people in baseball don't follow baseball media at all.
But it doesn't.
Like, they don't want to see tweets from insiders because it just does more harm than good for the most part. Isn't it on the Dodgers front office to say to Dave Roberts,
it's on everybody.
We don't want you to mention this at the winter meetings? If they did and they said, don't say anything, and he did it anyway.
That's a problem.
Why is he even in the job anymore?
So we have the audio of what happened.
Yeah.
The video does it more justice. The audio is good enough. So to break it down, Shohei Ohtani has requested, and his agent has said, look, we're going to meet with
his
teams.
agent has said that publicly, right? I know Jeff Passan reported it, but that's actually a real fact. That's not a rumor.
No, it's not a rumor.
That's a real thing.
He's a private person. He wants to keep his discussions private, and he doesn't want the teams to talk about their meetings.
And most teams have gone out of their way to be coy and surreptitious about any possible meeting with Shohei Ohtani.
Exactly. And the teams that he has met with, they have been tight-lipped. Now, he's been spotted here. He's been spotted there. He understands that.
Right.
He can't teleport to the front office of the Giants, like in Star Trek.
When he met with Toronto, he did so
spotted
in Florida at their spring training complex.
But
the
he was
GM,
spotted.
who for some reason wasn't at his media availability at the winter meetings in Nashville and was on a Zoom, would not say where he was.
Correct.
Was in a nondescript room and refused to answer any questions about why he wasn't there.
So he goes. So Dave, they met with Shohei, and he goes in front of the media yesterday. They ask him, and this is what he said.
It's a good possibility. I think that, we met with him. I don't want to. I'd like to be honest, and so we met with Shohei, and we talked, and
so he knew. He knew
by the fact of saying, "I want to be honest." That means he knew, and he said it. And they asked him the question, and he, being George Washington, was like, "I can't tell a lie."
That pause, man.
That pause, and you can see in the video his eyes start to flicker. Like, oh man, I'm about to step in. Here's the.
It's a good possibility. I think that.
Oh God, should I?
He's trying to think of a way to lie.
Yeah, we met.
I don't want to. I'd like to be honest, and so we met with Shohei, and we talked, and I think it went well. But at the end of the day, he's his own man, and he's going to do what's best for himself. Where he feels most comfortable.
So he spoke, and then apparently right after that, PR grabbed him. His phone was PR grabbed him and they had to talk. And then they talked to
the GM. The GM
did
is
is it what's his name? Brandon Gomes, is that right? He did like an interview.
It was like kind of informal scrum style.
Yeah, and he said, I was surprised. Which means, again...
Because I understand there was a comment made.
Yeah, I understand there was a comment made. And I was surprised.
Now, does anyone think that Shohei Ohtani is going to, if he really wanted to go to the Dodgers and they had the best offer, and that's where he wanted to go? I was just going
to say the whole thing is dumb because I still think he's a Dodger.
He's not going to, because of one small comment, he's going to completely change his entire process.
I doubt it very much.
Now, if he is really close,
I don't know. Can you really say that? Why? But then he wouldn't have made that a thing if it wasn't
if he's really close and he's like splitting hairs on his decision between 2 teams or 3 teams, and it's the numbers are almost identical, and the cities are appealing, and the rosters look good to him, and he's really trying to differentiate between one and the other. Yes, absolutely. He's going to go, hey, and they followed everything I asked them to do.
I don't know
if
it's a respect thing, but it was clearly important to him.
He said it, and if he goes back on it, then he's the one that looks bad, even though he's not going to. No one's going to care. But that was his thing.
Can you spin it the other way if you're Dave Roberts and go, hey, if Shohei, I know you asked this of me, but it's just not in my character to be devious and
it's not
lie
devious,
to people.
Though.
So when I was asked, I felt like I had to be honest. And if you're Shohei Ohtani, I can respect that if that is true.
It's very simple. C20 Moreno in the chat says he could have said, hey, we love the player. I got no comment at this time regarding our free agent negotiations. And then, Jeremy, I thought this as well. Some say the deal is done, and that's why Dave said something. I tweeted that, oh, yeah, they got him in the bag. You don't go out and say that unless there's ink on paper.
What would be the point of having a deal in the bag for several days but not announcing it, getting it out there?
Dotting I's, crossing T's, medicals, things like that. Notifying this guy, marketing. There's a lot.
I guess maybe it's possible because he's so secretive that they could have a deal in place and it actually hasn't leaked out at all anywhere.
Yeah. So this is how I know I'm getting old and soft and that therapy has affected me. There's a small part of me that goes, bro, if it really came down to that, like, how do you not feel for Doc Roberts as a human being of like, I just cost our team the biggest free agent of all time because I couldn't keep my mouth shut. It's gnarly. Now, I'll celebrate in the streets, to be honest. But there is that thing, it popped into my head. I go, I can't imagine saying something, really, it was out of school. It was out of turn. I can't imagine saying something so out of turn that Adam comes in and goes, you just cost the station $1 million or something. I don't know I could sleep. I really don't. I mean...
We were this close to getting Howard Stern here.
Well, actually, I don't want Howard Stern here. I like working mornings. Howard, would you be willing to work any other shift? Overnights, perhaps? We can hang out and do a crossover. How do you do that? If they lose that, Ben, if he loses that deal because of that, what do you do?
You put it in his file.
This is going in your
permanent file.
Put in that. Hold on. This is permanent file. Cost us Shohei Ohtani. Saved us $600 million essentially, but this is going in your permanent.
That would be the biggest Dodger thing ever. They were about to sign him for $600 million, doesn't get him, and all of a sudden Shohei Ohtani falls off
the face of the
cliff
earth.
In terms of production, and they
Blue Jays sign him, and
the biggest luck out in the history of baseball. That would be a very Dodger thing to happen.
Yeah, very much so.
All right, let's check traffic. The manager of the Dodgers, not the only manager speaking yesterday. We got some Mike Shildt audio for you as well right after this look at traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a motorcycle accident northbound 805 before Market Street. It's got the fast lane blocked. Traveling on the southbound 15 in the North County, just before Gopher Canyon, there is a collision involving a couple vehicles there over the right shoulder. Another crash up ahead right before Via Rancho Parkway, not showing if lanes are blocked. Also a collision on the Vista Village on-ramp to eastbound 78. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Remember when, well, not me, but you were threatened with this is going to go on your permanent record?
Oh, yeah.
Where is that permanent record kept anyway?
Has
anyone ever seen their permanent record? Paulie, do you know where your permanent record is?
No.
Is there anything on your permanent record?
There's websites you can go.
I'm pretty sure my permanent record has. I told you that story a couple weeks ago about me shoving Mike's jacket into the toilet in second grade.
That's in there.
That's on your permanent record.
That's one of my favorite.
I'm surprised I went to college.
If you missed this story, he was a bully, wasn't he?
It wasn't he was just
a D. Yeah.
He had it coming.
And
I asked for the bathroom pass. There was one bathroom pass. Now, the building had probably 4 classrooms in it, and then there's a bathroom for all 4 classrooms. So I asked for the bathroom pass. I went in, and this guy Mike's jacket was sitting on the floor. I don't know why it was on the floor, but he left it in there. So I took it, and I thought, this is my time to shine. And
how old are you again?
This was like second grade, so 9 years old, and shoved it in the toilet. Just like plunged it down as far as I could
into the crapper. He just.
Was that washable at that point?
I was in the toilet, did my business in the urinal, went back to class, and continued on with my day.
And then you got,
I don't know, 20 minutes later when Mike was like, "Oh crap, I need my jacket." He walks in to go get his jacket out of the bathroom, comes back crying.
Toilet. And he's the last one to have a pass.
Paul, was this you? No,
wasn't me.
Well, you're the only one that had a bathroom pass.
Weird.
That's weird because I didn't do it.
Detectives of Law and Order. It's an open and shut case. You were the only one in there.
But no one must have been somebody from another class because I didn't do it.
Prove it. Prove it.
What, you got cameras in there? You
right.
sickos?
You sick perverts. It's one of my favorite revenge stories of all time. There's a lot of jackets around town I'd like to shove into the toilet, but that one is like. It's one of my favorite Paulie stories. He jammed that kid's jacket down the toilet. How's Mike today? Have you caught up with him? No idea? All right.
Probably not great.
Probably not great based on past results.
Mike Shildt had his media session yesterday in Nashville at the baseball winter meetings. Have some of that audio for you here from yesterday.
I liked it.
Talked about what was your what would you say was like the highlight?
Oh, I loved
for you.
I loved how involved he is trying to be right now, getting around to see some of the players.
Yeah,
that I always appreciate.
He talked about he has a plan in place. He's already talked to some of the players, but he has a plan in place. Is that
had some dinner with some guys?
Cut number 3, Paulie, is if he's spoken with Juan Soto since he's got the job.
Yeah, I've texted with Juan. Have a trying to get down. I'm seeing a lot of our players. Had dinner with Joe, Manny, Campy. They were in town when I was in San Diego. Going to go see Crony on Monday. Going to take me to a Chicago restaurant. Looking forward to that. Have on the calendar to see Juan on my way down the Dominican. Juan, Toddy, Bogey, and Aruba. So little sun for middle of December. But yeah, I've had some good texts with Juan. Think highly of him. Good relationship.
When do you plan to be down there to see him?
I'm going to see Juan in Miami. On the 17th is what we have scheduled. I assume this is public information. And then I'm going to go see Toddy on the 18th and 19th and bounce over to Aruba and see Bogey after that.
It's a good gig if you can get it.
What you gathered from the conversations that you had and what you guys with the players about what next season will look like and maybe what 2023 was?
Yeah, more big picture, a little bit of what 23 was, when we capture the good, when we capture areas that we can improve upon. The big picture about the meetings with the group so far is continue to be impressed by our leadership of our clubhouse and the quality of people we have and the dedication, desire to work together and be great. I just can't speak highly enough of the guys we have. Joe Musgrove's, Manny, these guys have been amazing to work with, to sit down, talk with, hear their thoughts. They've got great ones, shared opinions and philosophies, and looking to partner with that group. So it's just been continually good to get to know them and understand where they're coming from and what they're thinking and how we can work together.
I like it, and I like what he has to say. He's doing a good job so far. Every time he talks, I feel a little bit better. I again, how is he judged? He's going to be judged on what the team looks like and what the win-loss record is at the end of the season, Ben. But I like what he had to say. I like his ideas. I like his background. I like his mettle. I love that he slogged it out. You know what it feels like to me too? It feels like a guy with a second chance that is embracing his second chance very, very much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think his first chance ended because he wasn't buttoned up enough or well prepared enough. And I'm not saying that Bob Melvin wasn't. He certainly was diligent about his job. But there was more of a laissez-faire about Bob
that's going to be gone.
Stands in contrast to Mike Shildt, who,
I agree.
Who really seems to like to have his ducks in a row and make sure every detail is observed. Kind of Buck Showalter in that sense. Maybe not with the reputation of Buck Showalter as kind of the military-style leader, but certainly in terms of the detail-oriented and the things that he wants to happen, this is Mike Shildt. You know, he's going to talk to everybody. He's going to get some input and some opinions from everybody, but he's also going to have things that he wants done his way. He calls them his non-negotiables. He said it again yesterday, said it to us, said it, I think, in his introductory press conference. Yeah.
Do we know what they are?
Playing the right way was one of them, if I remember correctly. Okay. That's a bit of a nebulous term, but he says there are non-negotiables. It's possible that one of those non-negotiables is, hey, I need you to play here. I know you may want to play somewhere else. I need you to bat here. I need you to play here.
I like that.
All right, we'll continue this discussion. We got Sammy Levitt, Jordan Schusterman, all coming up here on the Fan.
Halfway home on what could be pretty historic day in San Diego Padres franchise history, I would say.
Or nothing. Or it's nothing.
Or it
It's
could
just
be nothing at all.
Not happening.
We just don't know. And we wait. It's what we do a lot of that on this show. We've been involved in some of the bigger moments in Padres history, in recent history, certainly. But, we'll see what happens. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well.
What's my other title?
Oh, you are the Secretary of Homeland Exploration.
I am.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I may have to cancel the next 5 or 6 vacations after the news I got yesterday, which is always unfortunate.
This is a bit of a conundrum.
Had a routine visit to the vet yesterday. They were due for their checkup, but our younger dog, Shildt, had been limping the last few days. So I had her check out her hind left leg just to see, is there anything, what's going on? Why is she limping around a little bit? And she said, I fear it's an ACL injury or tear. And I go, oh, that does not sound good. Not going to be able to quarterback the Jets for the next few months.
She might have a shot.
Yeah, she might be able to come back in time for the playoffs.
They'd probably give her a look. They're giving everybody else a look.
I said, so what is, is that like we put a brace or a splint on it? She doesn't like those. She picks at them. She doesn't like the cone on her head. That doesn't work out very well. Says, no, unfortunately, it's an $8,000 surgery to fix that.
Oh.
What? $8,000 surgery on my dog? I don't know that we can swing that any time, especially during the holidays. And I go, well, what's the success rate of that surgery? Like, she going to be back in fighting shape if we get this done? It's about 50%. A lot of dogs can't go through the healing process correctly.
Well, let's call it 4,000 then.
So you're left with the dilemma of obviously a beloved pet, somewhat beloved pet, that
somewhat beloved.
You don't want them to be suffering, and she's obviously in some discomfort and hobbling around on 3 legs right now. We got her some pain meds and some anti-inflammatories, and maybe that'll do the trick. She said eventually it'll kind of heal a little bit. They'll grow some bone if you don't get the surgery, and they'll probably have arthritis, as they get older if you don't do it. I said, well, what happens if they're out in the wild? Well, if they're out in the wild, they just get picked off at this point. There's they don't get surgeries. They just are not fast enough to outrun predators. But, at home, there's no predators. She should be fine. She's not going to die or anything. It's like, am I a bad person if I don't want to get an $8,000 surgery for my dog? I feel guilty. I don't want to, condemn her to a life of limping and ACL pain in her paw or whatever it is. But at the same time, $8,000 is a lot.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Cash, just the checkup was like $600 to begin with yesterday. I'm getting Woods prices right now from my vet.
You're going to pay them.
It's your pet. You feel like you have to. But at this point, I have to make a decision, I think, about what to do going forward.
Euthanasia.
That's the other dog. He was given about 6 months to live. We're in the hospice stage for Reg, who's now approaching 14 and just getting old. And, he's still okay for now, but
if one of your kids
getting close.
If one of your kids pulled his ACL and needed surgery, you would do it, right?
Well, yeah, but I also have insurance.
That's fair. You can get pet insurance.
You can, not at this point. I don't think so.
You could have.
Hi, yes, I'd like your $87 pet insurance, and now I need an $8,000 surgery. Thank you very much.
People are saying go to TJ. They can do it there.
TJ?
You've never set foot in TJ.
I have. I went to the Cholos game just recently.
8,000. Care credit
specialist. Even she, it's not like she's drumming up business for herself either. She says, "I can't do it. I'm not a specialist. You're going to need to find a surgical specialist for the dog."
So Katie says, "Ben, my dog went through the same thing. We did the surgery, didn't work. She still lived to be 12. It was a lot of pain at the end. Yeah, and you're out $8,000. Oh man,
it's a dilemma.
Very good vets in TJ. They're saying, okay. I wish I had an answer for you. I don't think you would like mine. I mean, there's those times in life you're like, I have to do what I have to do here. I have to do the right thing, and I think the right thing is to, unfortunately, do the surgery. But it's a very expensive process. It's very depressing. Sorry, Caitlin. It is. It's a bummer. On what could already be a depressing day.
Yes, it is.
So, yeah, I think check out Care Credit, Ben. Just pay it off. Do it and pay it off. Sorry about that.
Slowly, over time.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a payment plan that we can set you up with.
Absolutely. Very sorry to hear about that.
I just know her. I also know her, and she's not going to.
She won't.
She won't be
her.
calm. She won't
let it. She won't let it.
She doesn't have the temperament to let anything heal, and that's a part of the equation here as well.
We can talk about my wife losing it right now. She texted me. He's not going anywhere. Talking about Jake Cronenworth. He is potential trade possibility. It doesn't really say where. It doesn't say where.
No, it's something. It's a possibility.
Yeah, it says, but it doesn't. It's not in the Soto deal. I don't think
anybody who tweets right now that a Padre player being traded is a possibility. We know that. We've known that for a long time. Lots of It's AJ Preller for goodness sake. Everything is always a possibility with AJ Preller. Telling us that something is a possibility when AJ Preller is the general manager of the Padres is telling us the sky is blue and the sun is yellow. Yes, it's a possibility.
Why did you extend him? What, 7 months? How long? When was the extension?
The question is, are you trying to get rid of him for nothing to save his salary?
Late March? It was in the season, wasn't it?
Are you trying to make your team better?
It changes the whole narrative of what we were supposed to be doing, I think. Does it? If you're doing it to dump salary, well then yeah, you are in the financial torture chamber that everyone thinks you are. Correct? Why did you the man that's running it now is the same man that extended him a year ago. What changed? I know he had a down year, but a lot of guys have down years. Like, what about the plan has changed?
Do you not feel the same way? Do you feel he had a down year, or he's not the player you thought he was? Because if you still believe in Jake Cronenworth, then you don't trade him right now at all. You wait until his trade value goes up. And you go, I believe in Jake Cronenworth. I think he's going to bounce back and have a really good season this year. And then we can discuss trade possibilities because teams will really be interested. If you trade Jake Cronenworth now at the bottom of his value, that is a salary dump. And you're going to have to attach sweeteners, whether it's prospects or money, to another team just to get rid of him. That's a financial move. If you wait and say, hey, we believe in Jake Cronenworth and we want to keep him, then you're gambling on your own player and you're gambling on your own judgment of why you gave him the contract in the first place. And if you are already saying, I made a huge mistake by signing Jake Cronenworth less than a year later, you've got to be questioning your own skills of evaluating your own players, correct?
I would think so.
That's a bad sign for a general manager.
People in the chat, and this is going to be the narrative, and I don't know that I enjoy this narrative very much, that, well, it was probably a Peter move. Peter wanted to do it, and Peter wanted to spend as much money as he could, and it was Peter. I don't know that I enjoy that narrative at all, to be honest with you. I don't. The A.J. Preller is the president of baseball operations, right? The moves ultimately fall on him. He's also Peter's no longer with us. So I don't like that narrative.
No, and you know, we've been told from sources that Peter Seidler was very much supportive of anything AJ wanted to do. Maybe to a fault sometimes.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
That makes more sense.
It wasn't. We haven't really heard anyone saying that Peter was driving the moves.
No.
He was simply approving the moves that AJ wanted to make. that not all owners do. Not all owners will approve every general manager idea. There are teams and there are owners who will get an idea and their general manager says, hey, I want to do this and it's going to cost this. And the owner will go, no, we're not going to do that. And then they've got to come up with a different plan. We've heard that Peter was not like that with AJ. Pretty much when AJ said, I want to do this, Peter found a way to make it happen for AJ Preller.
Yeah, I mean, Peter, he did say he believed in stability and all of that, but I just, it makes it, does it cast a bit of a pall on, Ben, what they're trying to do or what we were told they were trying to do when, you're talking about just a year later. If it is truly a salary dump that you now have to attach sweeteners to, what the hell are we doing?
Well, I mean, every team, every GM makes mistakes. They signed the wrong guy. The trade didn't work out the way they wanted to, and then you do have to adjust and react to it. You may need to create flexibility for other areas to add pitching, and if this is the way you do it, this is the way you have to do it. It's my sunk cost argument. If you don't think Jake Cronenworth is a legitimate piece to your next championship team, then you got to find a way to offload him for as little pain as possible so you can move on to your next plan of whatever that's going to be. Pick up first baseman, add pitching, use that money elsewhere. And hopefully it won't cost you too much in terms of prospects or sending money to another team to get out of the mistake you made. It's not a fireable offense to make a mistake as a general manager because they all do it. There's every single GM their past is littered with decisions that did not work out. That's part of the job. So, yes, maybe Jake Cronenworth's extension was very much a mistake, and you put that in the ledger of, the black marks against AJ Preller right now. It doesn't mean you can't. It doesn't mean that you don't do anything about it, though. But hey, if we don't trade him, then we can't acknowledge that we made a mistake in this extension. If you do trade him, though, you are acknowledging that you made a mistake.
Yeah, I don't want to I don't want to pay cash. Matt makes a good point. I wouldn't trade him if you have to retain his salary. An extra prospect, maybe, but not money. If we need to pay something, then just keep him. Again, it's not a back-breaking, his contract is not a back-breking contract at all.
That's why I think if you have any faith at all that Jake's going to turn it around, why do you get rid of him now? Why do you get rid of him? You wait until, he's having a hot streak, and then, the decision is a little different. Then other teams are going, oh, we just lost our second baseman or shortstop or first baseman, whatever. And Jake can play all these things, and man, he's hot right now.
It's just weird. Like Ha-Seong Kim has a year left on his deal, and Jake Cronenworth has 7 years left on his deal, and he's the one rumored and making the rounds and the rumors. Love to keep both of those guys. Had Jake gone out and played up to his capabilities at first base last year, this is not a discussion we'd be having. You'd have a first baseman on the cheap that was performing and playing. But, there's been some regression. I'd love to see a bounce back from him, not on another team, but and eating half of his salary. That would be moronic at this point. But you see the reports out there and you go, all right, what exactly is the plan right now? Right? So we shall see. Nothing, no news yet on Juan Soto. The Twitter machine has just gone.
Yeah, I promise you the plan wasn't, hey, let's sign Jake for a ton of money. We know he's going to be terrible, and then we'll figure out how to offload him in a year. That was never the plan. Right. I promise you that. They thought Jake was going to be better. He wasn't. Now you have to reevaluate. Do you think he can bounce back or not? If not, how do you get out from under that for as little pain as possible is the new plan. Plans are always changing. They are evolving. And by the way, all we heard was a tweet that it was a possibility, which I said earlier, everything is a possibility. That's not news. Something being a possibility is not news. And if you're telling me now it's reached final stages of discussions, that's different.
Would it be news if it was Xander Bogaerts or Manny Machado?
That it's a possibility?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Really?
I mean, you don't think a Xander Bogaerts trade would be a possibility? If someone came to AJ Preller right now and said, hey, we're going to make you, we love Xander Bogaerts.
Sure. I mean, if somebody walked into a suitcase and said, here's $1 million, would you take it?
We're going to convince you why he needs to drop his no trade clause and he wants to play for us. We're going to give you some prospects that you really love now.
When's the last time that happened?
It doesn't happen, but it's a possibility.
You could have a pet monkey by the end of the year. That is also a possibility. You just never know. You may be down a pet soon.
Well, I think you're downplaying a little bit. Xander Bogaerts is a really good player.
He is. But he's in the first year or second year of an 11-year deal. No one's coming to AJ Preller.
If you needed a shortstop badly and you felt like you could get Xander Bogaerts and convince him to come and drop his no-trade clause and you didn't think the price was overwhelming on a cost, I think the Padres would have to listen. On Xander Bogaerts.
Again, when I see names out in the media is when I think that there may be a little smoke.
Exactly. And I haven't seen any names involved with Jake Cronenworth.
Just
any teams or names. All I saw was the possibility that he is traded.
Okay. I hate this.
That's not much.
I miss when we used to get good players, not trade players away. That was fun. It was fun while it lasted.
It's like that Vince McMahon meme. Those days were special.
They're special, yeah. Shedding a tear. He's like, I can't right now.
You did say, Ian, you watched the basketball game last night.
I did.
And you had some observations on said basketball game last night. I'm curious of what you thought of the Havocs.
Massively impressed.
Okay, well, we'll get to that coming up. It's Ben and Woods. Check traffic. Do not go anywhere. This hour of Ben and Woods is brought to you by Golf Mart. Be back right after Kelly here on 97.3 The Fan. Less than an hour away from the next reading of a biggest fan name at 9:15. Got your chance to win the Odyssey Suite Night. It is brought to you by the San Diego Seals. Tickets are on sale now at sealslax.com. That comes your way at 9:15. But speaking of opportunities, haven't mentioned it yet, but Paulie says we are up and live right now. As you know, 2 weeks from today be the 5th annual Ben & Woods Christmas and Holiday Extravaganza live here from our Odyssey studios.
Always a fun day.
And we have upped the ante a little bit this year. We're going to be giving away $1,000 gift cards to help families in need buy gifts for the holidays. So here's how we decide on who gets those. You can go to 97.3 The Fan, SD.com/holiday, and nominate a family you know in need to receive these gift cards. Put in your email and then tell us why you think the family in particular, maybe it's been a rough year, they've got some extra challenges they've been facing, and we're going to go through all of those, and then we'll call them on the air and present them with $1,000 gift cards on Wednesday, December 20th, during our Christmas and Holiday Extravaganza. Now, we could not do this without some incredible help from some amazing generous sponsors who have donated these $1,000 gift cards. My buddy Jeff Padilla at Padilla Law Group. He is so supportive. He's been absolutely awesome. San Diego's father-son injury law team. If you need a lawyer, if you need an injury lawyer, go to PadillaLawGroup.com. The San Diego Seals, aforementioned, their season is starting this week.
Saturday.
You can get your tickets now at SealsLax.com. Support them. Good folks over at the San Diego Seals. 7 Mile Casino, they always step up for us. You visit them just 7 minutes from downtown. And got a new one yesterday from Swami's Cafe. Many locations. I got one right around the corner from my house up in Encinitas that we go to. Fantastic, great breakfast spot. All your favorites. Everyone loves Swami's Cafe. And they are stepping up with a $1,000 gift card as well. So go to 97.3 The Fan, SD.com/holiday and nominate a family in need.
Yep.
For our $1,000 gift card giveaways.
Last couple of years, we've given away $500.
Yeah.
So huge thank you to the sponsors for this year for stepping it up and doubling what we've done the last couple of years.
Yeah, and the
really helping some families.
You tier ones out there, somebody that you know that needs the help, just go in, log in, leave us information, phone number, whatever you can.
There's a lot of work and planning that goes into this show. Picking these submissions is the toughest part. I wish we had enough to help everybody.
Yeah, no question. But no, thanks again to all the sponsors. Just incredible that you guys stepped up. It's the earliest we've ever had it all wrapped up, man. I can't thank you guys enough for that. Just getting it done and getting it done in a timely manner.
Just amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so quickly, a couple minutes before we have Jordan Schusterman joining us at the bottom of the hour from Nashville. Aztecs lost last night. Their number 25 ranking will disappear quite quickly. And I warned everybody that this could happen when they go to Grand Canyon. I've been there. It is nuts. Woodsy, you watched the game and you saw what it's like. Their student section is called the Havocs because they create havoc inside that little arena there in the center of Phoenix near our Doo-Doo Spring Training Hotel. What did you think of
I thought I was so impressed. I was really impressed with the way Grand Canyon played. Benny, they played hard. It
wasn't as though San Diego State played a horrible game.
They didn't. They were really physical. And I saw a few people tweeting about it last night. Like, this is where you miss. This is where you miss the big man.
Yeah, Nathan Mensah.
You miss Mensah. You just
the final shot blocker.
You don't have it. And they're just not that size.
Now remember, last year they went to the national championship game. They lost a bunch of games early in the season too. They're not now what they will be at the end of the season.
No, they're not. Again, and and I wanted to make this point too. I saw people saying we got to stop scheduling this. You know what, dude? Iron sharpens iron. A game like that, losing by 6, which again you had a lead. You kind of coughed it up a little bit. Second half,
you had a lead.
You had a lead. This kind of loss makes you better. It makes you better. It makes you tougher. It makes you better. Going through some of this early, it's not an issue.
It'll hurt the Aztecs when it comes to seeding maybe later in the season during March Madness, but it's not a.
You need GCU to run the table now.
It's not a devastating loss.
Look great.
They are top 60 in net, so that's a quad 1 loss.
Yeah.
Those don't tend to hurt you. They actually almost help you. The more quad one games you play, looks good on the resume, even if you drop a few of them. There's a lot of teams that go like 2-7 in quad one games. They
But
still
how
make
much
the
would a
NCAA
win
tournament.
have helped San Diego State?
A bit,
yesterday?
yeah. I mean,
that's I think where
quad one wins are valuable, and you had an opportunity to get one. You let it slip through your fingers. Some of the same issues continue to plague San Diego State. Rebounding, especially. I mentioned it last time. Those long rebounds on missed threes. They got a lot of hands and faces. GCU either would make the shot, and I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but what I saw, they'd either make these incredible shots with a hand in their face, or it would be a long rebound that would go once again right over everybody's head and to one of their guards out by the 3-point line.
And I think Dutch said it. They made the putbacks. We didn't.
Yeah.
The
second chance points.
Second chance points. And the free throws are ungodly.
Yeah, Aztecs did not shoot well from the line yesterday.
Did not shoot well from the line.
Which, when you're in an environment like that, harder to make those free throws.
No doubt.
When you got an insane, rowdy, nutty student section.
And that's like I didn't know that they're like a hardcore Christian school. So they were literally just high on life last night. just camped out.
I bet some people tried beer.
Pizza.
Free pizza
will do it.
Camped out for all the tickets for days to get in there.
Yeah, high on life out there.
It wasn't like the UCSD game. Like that was the type of game that shouldn't be scheduled anymore for San Diego State. Like at the point where when you can only get hurt in your season with those games, we can't do that anymore. Like a win doesn't do anything, and a loss could torpedo your season.
I will give them credit, especially for being very clever. So they renamed their arena last night. It was GCU Arena, Grand Canyon University Arena. It is now Global Credit Union Arena. They got a new sponsor.
Very smart.
Now
move.
known as GCU Arena. They don't have to change any of the signage at all. That is the most genius sponsorship maybe in the history of sponsorships. It's still GCU
Somebody's
Arena.
in a board meeting. Hey, Toyota will double this. No.
GCU
Initials
Arena.
gotta be GCU.
We don't need to buy a dang thing. We can keep all the signs the same. We just call it Global Credit Union Arena now instead of Grand Canyon University Arena.
They were really impressive, dude. They fought. They were diving for loose balls.
They wanted it. So you knew they had never beaten a ranked opponent. They wanted it so badly.
It was their Super Bowl, and they stormed the court. And I just went, "Ooh, mama, what a moment for them."
So it does make the next couple of games even more important. Aztecs come home. UC Irvine Saturday. You can't slip up. UC Irvine's a good Big West team as well.
Brandon makes a good point. Gonzaga doesn't schedule games like Aztecs men's basketball, and it shows in March.
I mean, they play big teams.
Sure.
They'll play a Texas. They'll play major programs. No one thinks Grand Canyon, though. That's going to look just... Who's that? I've never heard of Grand Canyon. That's a bad loss. It's not, but...
the people that seed and rank, they're not...
Hopefully they'll know. Hopefully they'll know.
Of course they will. That's their job, right? I would hope.
You'd think, but...
It's not like they're asking me to seed it. You know what I mean? Woodsy, can you throw this together? Sure.
That would be funny.
That would be really funny.
Wood seeds the NCAA tournament.
We should do that as a bit.
Notre Dame, one seed? Are you insane?
Loyola won?
Again?
What is happening? All my Texas tackle won.
Let's take a time out. Our friend Jordan Schusterman from Cess with His Family Barbecue is in Nashville covering the winter meetings. Always has some interesting thoughts on what's going on. He will join us coming up next year on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. If anybody knows what's going on, it should be Jordan Schusterman from Cespedes Family Barbecue. He's been in Nashville covering the winter meetings. He was with us all season long, did a fantastic job on Mondays, on our Grand Old Mondays, and he joins us right now here on 97.3 The Fan. Jordan, how is Nashville? How you doing, buddy?
Oh, good morning, gentlemen. Always a pleasure to join you guys. And yes, it's good. We finally have a little bit of a buzz, although I know for you guys it's probably a little bit painstakingly nerve-wracking and everything.
It is, and we've gone through the other way too. I mean, we've had some really exciting moments here. Maybe this is our comeuppance, but those were fun. It was fun while it lasted, and that's kind of a good lesson for life, isn't it? Baseball has always been pretty true to life. It's sometimes not fair. Sometimes it's very rewarding. But yeah, it's going to sting, man. It's going to sting greatly if Juan Soto is in fact moved to the New York Yankees today for I have not seen one package yet that made me go, hell yes. Okay, if you get that, then you do it.
Can't say no to that.
You can't say no to that, but I just it's been pretty rough.
I definitely hear that. I also think though that like some of the the reports in the early goings of the kind of negotiations and I think if and when this gets done, I'm not saying you're going to say hell yeah, because I wouldn't be excited to be trading away Juan Soto under any circumstances. But my point is that it's the same thing when you guys got him in the first place.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, like that's a lot. But guess and it was true, and I think it'll be true for the Yankees too. Let's say they do actually add in a couple more pitchers than are even being reported. And they trade, 4 or 5 guys. And it's like, whoa, and all the Yankees fans that have been like, oh, we can't do that. That's ridiculous. They will not care so fast.
Oh, they won't care. They can care less. Yeah, just like we did.
And for you, obviously, especially from the Padres' perspective, now we're looking at the Soto deal that they made, and oh wow, look at Abrams and go whatever. But in the moment, and again, even from a process standpoint, and going for it and trying to win, which we want to see more teams doing, like that is what it's about. And I do think, unfortunately, it would be a smart move for the New York Yankees.
There's been a lot of talk at these winter meetings, especially the last couple of days, as nothing has happened, that baseball needs to act to liven up the proceedings. Buster Olney, Ken Rosenthal, John Heyman this morning. I would counter, this is a work conference for baseball. This is a trade show. This is something that, most industries have one of these every single year, and no one cares about livening up the National Association of Contractors meeting in Dallas or anything. Are we being spoiled as the media, demanding more action during the winter meetings?
Absolutely. Like, to me, and I know Ohtani has been the center of this conversation because the process involving him has been so secret, but I look at it as it is unfortunate that this can't be. Now, again, last year was popping off, right? And I don't know if that could have just been a coincidence and we have up years and down years of the winter meetings. But to your point, it is a work conference. And I talked to someone in the front office last night, and they're just like, yeah, like, we're working. Like, yes, this is the schedule demands that we are all here in this hotel during these 4 days, but it is still early December, and we're nowhere near, reporting to spring training. And so and the market is the market. So, like, if we get stuck with the boring winter meetings, that's just the nature. Like they cannot possibly. If we've learned anything, by the way, about front offices, is that they don't really care about perception in a lot of cases. They're trying to do their jobs the best that they can, and that manifests in so many different ways. And this is just one where I agree with you. Like, it is disappointing. We can be upset that this is an outcome. And yes, people that are here in Nashville, especially until even the Verdugo deal last night, have been like, oh my gosh, like this is nothing, this is so boring. Like, that's true, it is disappointing, but I don't know exactly. I think it feels a little dramatic to feel like we need to change it for our sake. But I think thinking about it more from the fans' perspective and thinking about it more from baseball and how can we keep baseball relevant in the off season, that perspective I am more kind of open to hearing, but it is a hard thing to kind of navigate and I would say regulate. From a league perspective.
No question about it. Talking to Jordan Schusterman from Cespedes Family Barbecue. So every year, the Padres are kind of aligned with a team, in my mind at least, and we do this for, conversation purposes. Years ago, it was with the White Sox. You had they were very similar. Man, we may be on similar tracks and paths here. Now I kind of look at what the Mariners are doing, and I know you're a Mariners fan. Your thoughts? I mean, you had some odd comments from your GM 6-8 weeks ago. Now it looks like they're in salary dump mode. Are they connected to any big names? How are you feeling as an M's fan? How did you feel about the trade that happened the other night, getting rid of Kellenic?
Yeah, well, way too many people saw my reaction to that.
Great.
That we filmed, and I mean, it was genuine. And Jake and I have had some success with content of revealing trades to each other or revealing news to each other, but that was just an authentic moment where I had looked at my phone in an hour. Yeah, but that's a real thing, and I think part of the reaction there. Now that's like literally in the moment, and maybe perhaps having had a drink or two, so that might be a little bit exaggerated. But at the same time, like when you wake up the next morning, you think like, why would they do this? I mean, unfortunately, it seems like at this point, all the reporting around it for people in the know that the budget that they have now, or the salary payroll expectations that they're working with now, are different than what it was when the offseason began, because of things involving the TV deal and stuff that is too boring to get into on this shorter radio hit. But the point is that they're not working with as much money, and so they clear money so that they can do anything. Because if they didn't do that, they wouldn't have been able to do anything. And so I think they will be making some big moves from a trading like they need to acquire. They basically said out loud, we need to acquire at least basically 3 hitters, like everyday hitters. So I don't know what those moves are. I would have loved to see them in the mix for Soto and a level of aggression, but everything that the way that they've talked about their process, it would be the antithesis of that, which is disappointing for me, for someone who looks at the roster and the situation that they're in and would like to see them acting more aggressive in ways that we've seen the Padres do, ways that we've seen teams like the Rangers do. Like, I would love to see a little bit more push up from that point, because I don't think they're that far away. I think that they still have a good foundation for the roster, but that lineup right now is decimated, and that's by their own design. So they have a lot of work to do.
Talking to Jordan Schusterman, Cespedes Family Barbecue, with us from the winter meetings in Nashville. And I think one area that baseball needs a lot of credit for, when you look at the top 2 free agents right now, Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, both obviously from Japan. We've seen the influx of more and more talent from Asia. Ha-Seong Kim was got top 10 MVP votes for the Padres last year after he came over from Korea a few years ago. Seiya Suzuki. I mean, the pipeline is now real. And it wasn't the case when we were growing up. The Hideo Nomo and Ichiro was a phenomenon, but they were the exception to the rule. Baseball was smart, Jordan, a long time ago, as they continued to grow the game in other parts of the world, not just Latin America, but beyond. And now they are reaping the rewards with massive talent, massive, exciting players that are coming that didn't just grow up here in this country playing Little League. It's now all over the world, and baseball is reaping the benefits.
Oh, 100%. And I think it's so great. And we think back to the WBC and understanding how good baseball is, in Japan specifically. And yes, it's clearly, the KBO in Korea with Ha-Seong Kim, and Jung-Hoo Lee is a prospect or a free agent this year that I think is being really underrated. I think he's going to get paid and could be, a future star in the league too, coming from Korea. But if you weren't convinced enough, if you watched the WBC, you understand how good baseball is in Japan. And now that we see that players there value the opportunity to play in Major League Baseball so much that, in the cases of Ohtani, they're not even willing to wait an extra couple of years to come get that big payday, right? He wanted to come here as soon as possible. And it's clear that the goal for them is to get over here and prove themselves. And I love it. It's fantastic. I think that when you have players like that, we like to pretend like acting like it is a worse league in such a significant way. We've seen the level of success, and now that we're seeing hitters as well come over and have success, I think it's a great thing. It makes the whole market more interesting. It's trying to project those things is really hard for teams, but also a fascinating discussion point. So it's a great thing for our game, and I think the WBC was a great way to kind of remind people how good baseball is in other parts of the world.
Jordan, you're going to get Tommy Pham, and we're going to get Alex Wood, and we're going to like it. That's going to be our offseason. I'm making the bold prediction now. It's going to be great.
You're so right.
It's going to be great.
You're so right, guys. You're so right. So I'm prepared for it.
After Ohtani, And after Juan Soto, if that does materialize, who is your net? And Yamamoto as well. And I know their New York teams are very interested in him, and probably the Giants are interested as well. I think they've expressed interest. They remain an interesting one to me. I saw Bob Melvin yesterday, and I saw Padre fans flipping out about his quotes. He wasn't, in my opinion, he said it's pretty cool to see us shopping at the top of the. He wasn't taking a shot at the Padres because, well, they shop at top of the market too, and had before when he was there. They remain very interesting. Like I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to be left out? Are they still in the mix for some of these huge players?
Also, I mean, I guess was that interpreted as a shot because the Padres are quote unquote cutting payroll now? Because the funny thing about that is the Padres have had more success at the top of the market than the Giants recently.
Yeah, no question, no question about it.
It's not even close. It's not even close. So, I mean, that's a pretty kind of inane quote. Like that's like duh. Like yeah, it's nice.
We're injured. We are wounded right now. That's we are taking everything seriously.
I get that. That's totally fair. But I agree, and I think that the Giants are in an interesting spot because they are clearly desperately being aggressive and trying to shop at the top of the market. But they're not one player away. That roster needs so much work that it's not that it's a bad thing to pursue Shohei Ohtani. That's a bad thing to pursue Yamamoto. Like, yes, but some of these other teams where it's like, okay, yeah, like that would really, put them over. That would really put them in a special position. I don't know for them, like, even if they managed to land one of these guys, this would have been true last season also. It's like they signed Judge. If they managed to sign Judge, they still would have had a lot more work to do. I mean, sure, maybe they would have been a slightly better team.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of pressure there. And I'm excited. Like there's a lot of teams like that where they're trying to spend that money, but there's just not enough top-level players to go around in this market. And I think that's what's going to be really exciting to watch over the next few weeks.
Jordan, as always, we appreciate it. We'll let you get back to your Opry or whatever's going on.
Boris is doing his bit. So
get
the bit. Go.
Quick.
I'm going over.
All right, Jordan's going over there. Thanks, Jordan. Jordan Schusterman, Cespedes Family Barbecue. He mentioned the World Baseball Classic. You got an update on that for you right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Jack in the Box. Crash involving a motorcycle has cleared on the northbound 805 just before Market Street. Now a collision on the Kelton Road on-ramp to westbound King Freeway. Also a big rig fire westbound 8 at Greenfield Drive off-ramp. Hit run crash southbound side of the 5 right before La Jolla Village Drive. That is in the center divide. Don't you hate it when you wake up and realize you've missed breakfast by only a few minutes? At Jack, breakfast has no limits. For only $4.50, you can make any time breakfast time when you get 2 of their new breakfast bagels with freshly cracked eggs and melty American cheese on a toasted bagel. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So Jordan mentioned how good the WBC has been for the game. We didn't get to host any of the games in San Diego in 2023. Did in the past a couple of the World Baseball Classics. But we saw yesterday a post someone saw on the video board at Petco Park, something to the effect of, Petco Park welcomes the 2026 World Baseball Classic. And that's interesting to see. It was reported yesterday, I saw on the UT, MLB representatives were at Petco Park yesterday, and they were making the pitch to be one of the host sites for the next World Baseball Classic. It's not official or a done deal, but San Diego is
so confused yesterday when we saw that. Because we're like, how often is the World Baseball? It's every 3 years. So is it every 4 years?
Sometimes it's
every 6 years.
Pandemic kind of messed it up. It was like 3, then 4, then 6, and now it's 3 again.
Yeah.
The next one's in 2026, and apparently Petco Park will be in the mix. I guess they were trying to visualize it into reality. Hey, here's what it would look like up on our big, giant, nice video board in San Diego on another beautiful day. So it's certainly a possibility that we could see the WBC. Now, whether is that the semifinals or group play or the finals, I'm not sure what they're going for or being considered for, but it is being talked about, at least with the Padres and Petco Park, bringing it back the next time they play the WBC.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the hardest sell. It was absolutely epic when it was here. It's an epic ballpark in a perfect city.
The most iconic moment of any World Baseball Classic possible. Well,
Shohei and Trout.
Adam Jones is, but yeah, Shohei and Trout.
Shohei striking out Trout.
May have eclipsed.
AJ's catch is one for me, but Shohei and Trout's 2. The catch was ungodly.
Yeah.
It was an ungodly catch against a guy that's now our cornerstone third baseman.
It feels different that's our boy,
and
Adam
it was
Jones
here
is from
in
here.
San Diego.
Yeah.
He's from here.
Yeah.
It's legendary, man. Legendary. Again, I almost get mad that we have to do a presentation. It's a waste of our time. Hello, this is Eric Grupner. Yeah, it's Joe from the WBC. Yeah, you know what we have to offer.
Right. But we didn't get it this year.
I know.
So obviously there's
absurd.
competition, for these host venues.
It was at Chase Field.
It was.
Come on. Do better, man.
They got to host a WBC and a World Series in 2023.
Yeah, one of them was earned.
In Arizona.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I'd love to see it come back in 2026, for sure.
Hector Gomez.
Oh, God. What?
Tweeted a person very close to Juan Soto. Yankees trade for Juan Soto was almost done. They're just waiting on medicals to clear. So,
cool. At that point, you just if that is true, then everyone just now you want it to happen because you don't want like bad medicals to come back on Juan Soto to torpedo a trade. That's even worse than like not trading him in the first place because
then he knows. You were trading.
Now you've got damaged goods that you don't have as many options with Juan Soto. Yeah. So if that is true, then you are kind of hoping it goes through today.
So I tweeted it. Mike Petriello was talking about Michael King as the rumored centerpiece. I think the talent's there, but he also has 247 total major league innings. He's turning 29 soon. The track record of durability is not great. He also has one more year than Juan Soto of control. So I hope it's more than that.
Also, a little Ohtani news here coming up as well. Paulie's got a Rhino report all ahead. Final hour of Bennett Woods next year on 97.3 The Fan. Just a burst of news from John Heyman. Not only that a Padres-Yankees Juan Soto trade seems to be very close, not final, but very close. Some even say they're to the point of medicals, although we don't have a lot of the names yet. Michael King, the one name that we're definitely hearing, but still nothing officially reported. He also saying now on MLB Network that a decision from Shohei Ohtani is coming by the end of the weekend, not by the end of the winter meetings, which wrap up tomorrow, but by the end of the weekend, Shohei Ohtani is expected to make his decision as well. Hard to say when someone's expected to make a decision.
It is.
I mean, if the person themselves doesn't know exactly where they're... I mean, until you've made a decision, we know he's going to make a decision. He'll come to his decision when he's ready to come to his decision. I would think that he's got a lot of the information he needs, though, to make that decision at this point. So we are continuing to monitor any news. I was just going through the Padres trade for Juan Soto in 2022. 5 prospects for Juan Soto, essentially. You also had Luke Voigt and Josh Bell in that deal, but you sent 5 prospects to the Washington Nationals. I think it's going to be instructive, whatever the Padres do end up getting back if they trade Juan Soto, let it kind of compare. I mean, everyone expects it's going to be a downgrade from what you gave up because, obviously, you're not giving up 2.5 years. You're not getting 2.5 years of Juan Soto if you're acquiring him. You're getting 1 year of Juan Soto. So how much value did they give up from 2022's trade deadline to whatever they potentially get back here in a trade for Juan Soto? What did you rent Juan Soto for? How many prospects? You know, how much worse are those prospects? What was the rental price for 1.5 years of Juan Soto worth based on what you got back? I'm going to be looking at that kind of closely and comparing Mackenzie Gore to, a Drew Thorpe if they get him, or compare, Michael King to Jarlin Susana, and wherever you are, you can make that evaluation and say, hey, Padres didn't do that badly, or Padres did not do well. They gave up a lot for Juan Soto. They didn't get that much back in comparison. I think that's part of this discussion as well.
His name was mentioned early. I haven't seen it mentioned since, but Jason Dominguez is he's there. He had ACL, or not ACL. He had Tommy John. He was their young, hot prospect outfielder.
But he's not a pitcher, so you're not concerned about velocity or anything.
No. But he's he was one of their he was like their Ethan Salas. They had him forever and coming up through the system. They call him the Martian, and he just hits tanks. And he would be interesting. I don't think they would do it. But it certainly probably was asked for. Kevin Acee has just tweeted that the teams are close on a deal too. So that's more local.
Haven't heard much locally.
That's the only reason that's noteworthy, because it's the same thing everybody else is saying, but at least it's from a Padres side and not all Yankees and National side.
Yeah,
is a little bit different there. But yeah, Jason Dominguez.
10:03 a.m. That's my prediction.
10:03. Yes, exactly.
I don't think it's impossible that if I'm the Yankees, that would be the guy I'm most reluctant to part with. I mean, they've been fighting to not have Michael King in. I don't even know why you would fight that hard to avoid including his name, but you probably would if you're Brian Cashman. That could be one of those non-negotiables, untouchables in Jason Dominguez, or maybe he is touchable for a year of Juan Soto.
He would be at least interesting to me.
He would certainly be at least the equivalent of like a C.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
What you gave up for Juan Soto. If you got him, You could say the Padres did very well in their return.
I just can't stop reading the Mike Petriello tweet. I just can't stop reading it. Like if that's number one, that was the guy they were holding out on in Michael King, and that if that's the guy that's going to hurt them the most, but that would be the centerpiece. That's a tough pill to swallow. Again, I just
Petriello likes King.
He does, but he says, I think the talent's there. He's got 247 total Major League Baseball innings. He's turning 29 soon. The track record of durability is not there. And he is a converted reliever to a starter. He does have some nasty stuff. Made it past 5 innings just twice. Yeah. And so you look at that and go, and again, also the more important thing, what did we always say about Juan Soto? We want to trade him for what? Young, controllable pitching. You have one more year of Michael King than you would with Juan Soto. That's semi-controllable. It's not really controllable.
Now, Drew Thorpe, the other name, he would have all of his control still. He has not even made his major league debut yet, correct? He's simply one of the top prospects in the Yankees system. You would be adding a pitcher as well, and we have not heard
at least those are the names.
Anything about any of the other names. Those are the only two that have really been discussed today. Most reports say there would be other names involved.
Like Johnny Brito was mentioned. I think he's made his debut. I feel like he pitched in the bigs. He's 25.
I mean, clearly,
he made his debut. Last year.
Michael King would immediately slot right into the Padres rotation at number 3 at this point. I mean, we know he's good enough based on what we've seen that he leapfrogs everybody but Joe Musgrove and you Darvish into the Padres rotation. And, gets them a little closer to having a 5-man set by the time they get to spring training. That would be something.
My ears are hot. I always pit at this.
Do you think they're talking? They say your ears burn when people are talking about you.
No, my ears.
Do you think you're in the trade talks?
Baby. Aztecs have traded me to Montana. My ears are burning because I'm getting mad. I'm glad that we only have 54 minutes left, and it's cardio day, so I'm just going to go run fervently on the treadmill when I get out of here and check my phone. My ears are hot because I'm mad.
Well, you ain't going to like the Rondo Report, I'll tell you that.
All right, well, let's find out.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right.
Adam, if you're listening, we're get all the tweets that you're sending us. We're seeing them also. So we got them. We all have
Sometimes
Twitter
I see Adam's like 5 seconds before I see it on my own feed.
We got it.
It can get us a little quicker.
Get so excited.
Hey, it's a business of immediacy. And if you don't have it for 10 seconds, you're late.
Yeah, we've never missed one. Not while we're on the air.
You guys are really good about it. You're better than I am.
Yeah.
Well, you often surprise me with news.
You're like the worst social media person of all time. Of course we're better than you are.
Okay. Where do we want to start?
I would love to see your DMs one time just to see how full they are.
Do you even check?
Do you even look at your...
I don't have them open.
Man of the people.
No one ever accused me of that.
That laid me out, Paulie.
All right.
Crap.
Missed the story yesterday. We were short on time, but local news a little bit. Caleb Williams not going to play in the Holiday Bowl for USC. I think it makes sense. I get it. Kind of hate to see that if you're the Holiday Bowl.
I thought you did this story.
No, we talked about it off the air. We didn't have time. We ran out of time yesterday for it.
We did this story yesterday.
No, we talked about it off the air. Yes, he is not going to play in the.
He on mushrooms.
He has not officially announced he's going into the draft. It would be weird to skip your team's bowl game and then come back next year to play at USC.
I
correct?
Tier wants to back me up here. I'm having the worst case of deja vu in history.
I had it in the Rhino Report yesterday. We skipped it because we had like 4 minutes.
Okay.
Talked about Brenda Lee instead.
That's true. Okay. All right.
But maybe we did talk about it somewhere else in the show.
Maybe somewhere else in the show is when it happened. All right, so
Caleb Williams not going to play here in
case
San Diego.
you missed it. Caleb Williams will not be playing in the Holiday.
Probably. I mean, if you're a coach, don't you want to start playing guys that are going to play next year anyway?
Yeah, of course.
In a bowl game that's not a playoff. Yeah, you're a step ahead of the game for next season.
All right, this one you're not going to like, Woodsy. It's your 2 favorite things: NBA basketball.
Okay.
Regular season NBA basketball and Kevin Hart.
Oh, yes. Okay. Perfect.
The NBA and Kevin Hart are linking up they're calling it NBA Unplugged with Kevin Hart.
Awesome.
And that is going to be
basketball's game.
Basketball's version of the Manning cast. with your host, Kevin Hart, and, rotating cast of co-hosts throughout the 7 episodes that have been announced. Now, only 3 have been scheduled so far. It's going to start this Saturday. It's the NBA in-season tournament championship game in Las Vegas. And on ESPN 2, so ESPN 1 will have the standard broadcast with their normal broadcasters and all of that. ESPN 2, just like on Monday nights, will have the Hartcast, NBA Unplugged, and it'll be Kevin Hart breaking down the game and discussing it with people throughout the entirety of the game.
I'm going to do a fart cast where it's just me farting throughout the NBA game that's currently on.
Produced by ESPN, Heartbeat, which is Kevin Hart's production crew, and Omaha Productions. So
he's not funny. He's not a funny guy.
So I think Kevin Hart's stand-ups are very funny. I think his acting is horrendous.
The best role he ever played was in 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Like maybe the first role he's ever had.
And it's not even particularly... It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
He was an unknown at that time.
He laid me out in that. You've never seen that, have you? 40-Year-Old Virgin?
I have not seen that.
He may be uncredited in that movie, and it's his, you can't go anywhere from there but down.
There's a lot of big words you're throwing at me. I'm going to take them as disrespect.
I'm going to need a discount of...
on the house. It murders me. And I remember seeing it and going, he's really funny. And then I was like, oh, there's that guy. And I was like, he's not funny anymore. I don't know what happened. But, all right, well, I mean,
it's better than Eli Manning, at least.
That's true. But that's not a very high bar.
No, but they put him on TV to talk about games.
I bet he'll have some entertaining. I would rather watch that than the Manning cast, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See?
I think I would.
They've already cleared one bar.
Yeah, you cleared that bar.
By the way.
But what about Fartcast? Out of the 3 of those. Me watching NBA games, just farting throughout them. Here we go.
I mean, are there people with you to react?
No, it's just me.
I feel like we need some reactions. That's what's
like my wife next to go. Oh.
Yeah, that's the funny part of flatulence.
My kids
just
would
seeing
be great.
A guy just
my kids would be
is not
great.
That entertaining. It's the reactions of the people around that person that really provides the entertainment value.
Somebody in the chat said, Moreno said Hart with Snoop Dogg would be hilarious.
That would be really good.
They did the Olympics coverage on Peacock. It was like
I remember
uncensored.
I remember seeing the clips of it and going,
no way, dude. The horse galloping around and Snoop and Hart losing their minds.
Just give me Marshawn Lynch doing it, and that's all I need. I just need Marshawn on camera all the time, and I'd be so happy.
Right. By the way, Lakers beat the Suns last night. 106-103 to advance to the Final Four.
On some BS call, too, I saw.
Well, they got a timeout. They were
on a loose ball.
They were up 1, and there was a loose ball. They got a timeout when they shouldn't have had it.
Yeah,
so up against what? We're not up against.
We're up against.
No, we're not.
Yeah,
we're fine.
we are.
Oh, finally,
we're fine. The Final Four is set. It's Lakers, Pelicans, and then Bucks, Pacers in Vegas.
Lakers,
on Thursday.
Pelicans, Bucks, Pacers.
That's their Final Four in Vegas for the in-season, the first ever in-season tournament.
That's right. They do both the Final Four and the championship.
Winners will play this weekend on Saturday, I think, for the title.
Alrighty. A little news you can use here. I know we have college students that listen to this show. Maybe you're a parent who has a college student.
2 of them.
Amazon is offering college kids $25 flights home for the holidays.
That's not going to help me much. They already live at home.
They live at home.
Well, then this story
$25 get them the hell out of here.
Yes, send them on a trip. So you have to be a member of Amazon's Prime Student Program. I don't know a whole lot about the Prime Student Program because, well, I'm not a student.
Usually student programs are cheaper than regular programs, though. So.
I got like Spotify Premium for half off when I was a student.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. Everybody I know has Amazon Prime, though. And so look into Prime Student if this appeals to you. But they are offering 1,000 tickets a day for select routes to all 50 states. You know, you're going to have to search through the dates and all of that. But it's centered around the holidays, and they are trying to get you tickets for $25 each way.
To what extent do you go to the lowest price on airfare when you are traveling?
None whatsoever.
No.
Almost none. It's factored into the budget for the vacation.
See, like, I'll do the whole low fare calendar.
Would you do Spirit?
I have once.
You
I
have?
really don't. I do Southwest, though. I have no problem with Southwest. And I will use their low fare calendar. Like, hey, if we go a day earlier, we can save $100 on each round trip ticket.
But if we just stayed home, it's like being on a vacation. We'll just call it a staycation, then we don't have to spend any money.
I mean, you'll go at like the premium time and pay premium prices.
Sure.
Like I'll do the if you go at the 6 a.m.
need-
flight, it's a lot cheaper than
I
waiting
love a
and
6
going
a.m.
at 10
flight,
a.m.
dude. Love it.
I don't mind getting up early for it. But
I'll definitely compare.
But I'm not
price shop
changing my
flights.
like if there's an early or a later flight, but it's going to ruin plans that I had for that day just to save $75 or something.
Yeah,
no.
I mean, there's you got to be there when you got to be there for
Where
sure.
do you get
but-
your airlines? Do you go to the direct to their site, or do you go to like
think you always get
Travelocity?
cheaper.
It's better when you go direct to the site. Southwest isn't even on the search engine. Sometimes I'll start like on a Travelocity or Expedia just
Even
to kind
just
of
Google searching
compare
like San Diego to Phoenix flights. It'll run a search for you,
and
I don't
then
know
I'll
if Southwest is
specifically
on
I'll
there.
look at what the prices are. Then I'll go to the actual airline sites to see if we
try
can
it
get
there.
a better deal
I'll-
directly
okay.
from them.
I'll do that as well. Like
Okay.
that's the extent of it. That's about the extent of it. But I won't do I haven't done Spirit. I've heard way too many horror stories about it. When it comes to airlines, I'd like the safest, the best of the best if I could.
Well, and then,
if I can get away with it.
Like with Spirit, then it's like, okay, cool. Unless you're walking on with absolutely nothing, then you're going to end up paying $60 a bag.
If I am just
$8
going
for
and
water.
coming right back somewhere quick, I got no bags or anything. Why wouldn't you? There's no frills on any other airlines anymore either. There's no
true.
frills. Well,
Aren't
if you don't,
Spirit flights smaller, like the seats
oh yeah,
and everything?
but I'm going to be uncomfortable no matter what. It's really a very small degree at this point. Yes, I'm entirely uncomfortable every flight I've ever been on. I've never been comfortable on a flight ever.
No.
So
I have a couple times.
Have you?
Yeah.
Good for you. All right, that's our Randall report. We've got Sammy Levitt still standing by, waiting for the breaking news.
We don't
Maybe
know what's
Sammy
going on
will
with
break
Sammy.
it.
Sammy's like, Boris is about to start talking, so he'll be doing that. So hopefully we check in with Sammy in about 20 minutes.
I'm fine just watching Twitter for the next 45 minutes and doing it on the air. I really am.
That is ahead then with Ben and Woods. Right now it's time for our biggest fan. If you are hear your name called, you'll have 10 minutes to call us back, 833-288-0973, and qualify for our grand prize drawing, 20 tickets to a 2024 Padres game in the Odyssey Suite. Watch with your friends. Fan hosts will all stop by as well. The biggest fan this morning, ooh, I know this one, Guido Knudsen from Chula
My
Vista.
boy! I
Guido.
love him. I think it's Guido.
I think it's Guido.
Is it Guido?
I'm pretty sure it's Guido.
That's Guido.
Well, you can call in the next 10 minutes and give
Guido.
us your correct pronunciation.
I've
know
always called him Guido.
He pitched at UCSD, I believe.
He did, and
was
for
in
the Tigers.
minor league
And I
organization of the
recruited
Tigers,
him
yeah.
for adult ball for many, many
No,
years.
no favoritism here. We're just randomly calling the names. You can put your name in at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan. Biggest Fan Contest is brought to you by the San Diego Seals. Tickets are on sale now at sealslax.com. Give us a call, Guido. 833-288-0973.
While we go to break, we'll just let this simmer. John Morosi just posted news. Juan Soto trade to the Yankees is now, quote, close to being finalized.
Same old
stuff. Yeah.
Source confirmed.
But he says Alex Verdugo is not in the deal.
Cool.
Not
Michael
Alex
King and Drew
Verdugo.
Thorpe, along with additional players, will go to San Diego.
Close. Very close. Very, very close, everybody. Coming back, maybe we'll be even closer when we return after traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Up next, the Fart Cast. We got more names rolling in, Ben. What's it? Do these names pump your nads? You ready? Michael King, Drew Thorpe, Schmidt. Who's that?
Clark Schmidt.
Oh,
That's
Clark
not, I didn't
Schmidt,
see that one. I saw Randy Vasquez, Johnny Brito.
Oh, wait. My hunch is that means Schmidt and Hampton won't be moved. Okay. Brito and Vasquez, yes. And then a catcher. King, Thorpe, Brito, Vasquez, Higashioka maybe. For Juan Soto.
This sucks.
This sucks bad.
Don't know. I mean, I don't know enough about the players the Padres would be getting. It's a lot of pitching depth, which is something they definitely need. Badly. I mean, badly, for sure. So
there's pitchers. I mean, there's pitchers out there you could go get.
Well, and they may still have to go get more pitchers now. Yeah, if this is the last move the Padres make, it's a very bad offseason. Yeah. If they go and now use some of the money freed up and sign some players and make more trades. And
sign Juan Soto.
If they still pick up Corbin Burns and do some other moves or trade for Randy Arozarena.
Look, the
offseason's not done.
No, it's not in the lineup.
In fact, some say it couldn't even start until this move was made.
Yeah, for sure.
For a lot of people. So
it's going to sting today. And then we'll see what you can parlay it all into. There's still a lot of potential things.
Does it sting less in a year if Juan Soto doesn't sign with the Yankees and goes somewhere else? Does it sting less if he comes and signs with the Padres as a free agent after this year?
Yeah, you wonder about our financial situation, what that's going to look like a year from now, and who knows? But there's still names out there that excite me. And I said in the break after my first official screamed F word. Sorry if I startled you guys.
It was loud.
It was loud. Just had to get it out because I'm mad. If you went out and you traded for Randy Arozarena, got me back a little bit. Phil says losing Soto and Cron might mean signing Jung-Ho Lee. I've been down on him since we talked to Eno Saris, who was like, "Hey, what do you think of Jung-Ho Lee?" He's like, okay. He's okay. He's gonna have to make the adjustment. All that. I mean, whatever. People have different ideas.
We've been on a nice run lately. There's no fan base that every move is always an upgrade of every time you ever make any deal. Yeah. Every fan base goes through the moves they like and they don't like, and you add stars, you lose stars. That's part of baseball. So, this is the evolution of what it's going to take to make the Padres better somehow in the future, even if it's beyond 2024. I understand that. If you thought there really was almost no chance of signing Juan Soto to an extension, then the smartest move is to trade him for as much as you can get him for. And it's to do it now. It's not to wait until the deadline when, no one's going to want to trade Juan Soto. If the Padres are 8 games above 500 in the end of July, no one's going to want to trade Juan Soto then, even though, hey, we know we can't sign him, but now we get nothing for him at all.
You're 8 games above 500. You're in the race. You're going for it. Yeah, trying to win a World Series. If only there was a guy that put the team on his back in the World Series and actually, as a 19-year-old, and helped win a World Series for his city. If only there was a guy out there like that.
I don't know what the final roster is going to look like. I would know they will miss Juan Soto if he's not on it. But could they put together a more complete roster without him next season? Perhaps. I don't know that the Padres are a better team with Juan Soto and no pitching at all than they would be with Juan Soto. Now, if they can have Juan Soto and some deep pitching, that would be even better. But if that's not an option, I can't tell you that this isn't a smart move for the Padres. We will find out as we move forward. But I can almost certainly promise you that this is not the last move they're going to make this offseason.
No.
This is the first of many. This is the first of many moves.
Yeah, a lot of dominoes
that will be coming for the Padres.
Would you guys like to hear from Scott Boras, who was asked if he expects Juan Soto to be
Not
traded?
if it's Sammy Levitt's audio, I don't, because I tried to hear that and I couldn't understand a word. Did you play it?
I can do it for you here.
This is not Sammy.
Okay. No, it's mostly crowd noise.
Yeah.
The Padres and all about, do you think Soto will be traded here soon?
there are a lot of teams that they're just canvassing to find out what their best options are, and obviously that involves a lot of whenever you get into a fifth-year player, that includes, a number of our clients, so I would say that, those possibilities are much higher because of the status of the player and the other needs of teams where they say, I've got to fill other holes because even having one of the greatest players on my team doesn't allow me to cover my pitching side. So you can kind of see why clubs would be looking into what they're looking into. But again, when you have a player in the marketplace that is an offense among himself and he has such a dramatic impact on a franchise, you can fully expect that there's going to be a number of teams trying to grab onto him.
An offense among himself. That was definitely
a good player.
Definitely a far cry from a week ago or so when he said, "No, I expect Juan Soto to stay with the Padres," because that was Scott Boris's talking point at the general managers meetings. What was that, a couple of weeks ago, when he did his first set of puns and said, "No, I think we're still thinking he's going to be in San Diego." Yeah. I mean, that is more like, okay, now we're facing reality and he's going somewhere else.
Dennis Lynn tweets, as the Padres and Yankees continue working towards a Soto trade, Jake Cronenworth is another trade candidate. As FineSense said, Cronenworth's 7-year, $80 million extension begins in 2024. He has an 8-team no-trade clause that kicked in this offseason. So he'll 22 other two teams. You're dumping salary now. Let's just call it what it is. You're dumping salary. We're in a salary dump, which is exactly what our late owner said he did not want to do.
If they don't add any salary after that, yes. I mean, you can't say until the next season starts and where the payroll is, you can't just say salary dump. If they trade Juan Soto, they trade Jake Cronenworth, they give up prospects, and they add nothing, then that's salary dumping. If they then reinvest that money in other areas of need.
What if they reinvested in, the Alex Woods of the world, the really just, hey, we got a roster to fill out here, and we do have Manny and Tatis and I almost said Soto, but he's not going to play here anymore. Bogarts. Yeah.
I mean,
go out and get you a Rowdy Tellez.
Are they effective or not in the Padres? I mean, I don't think the Padres should go sign bad players who are going to play badly for them. Yeah. You might as well just play the kids at that point. And then you're just in full salary dump mode. But if you can go sign some players that you think will help you win more games than you did last season, then go do that with the money that you're freeing up with Juan Soto. No one has purported the Padres are trying to get down to a $150 million payroll this season.
That's true.
And now they have, if Juan Soto is traded, they should have about $30 to $40 million, or let's see, about $40 to $50 million to play with just for this season. That's 4 $10 million players. That's 2 $20 million players you could add for this season, depending on how you want to allocate it. I mean, you could get good ball players that help you still with that kind of money that might be here longer than just one season for Juan Soto.
For sure.
You can't just say it's just a definitely bad day.
Don't you
for
tell
the
me
Padres.
what I can say.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's very, very tough. It's very tough to look at the moves as they stand today. I'll give you that. And you know what it looks like. But again, we know what AJ Preller is capable of in the offseason, so we'll see what happens. It's not a good day, though. It's definitely not a fun day.
No. But it's also a day to reserve some judgment until you see what the next moves are after this.
I'm not great at that.
No, you're not. You're not really that.
But you get mad at me when I say, well, let's see how it all plays out. And now what are you telling me? He told me one of the tenets of sports radio is, Woodsy.
You got to have a hot take right away.
Right.
Yeah.
My hot take is that this sucks. That's it.
For more hot takes from Woods and maybe some Sam Levitt news as well from Nashville, stick around for our final segment of Ben and Woods. Oh, by the way, Guido did call in.
It was Guido.
And
you
it was
right.
Guido is in on the biggest fan drawing for the end of the contest coming up here. Congratulations to Guido. We will be back following every development from Nashville next on 97.3 The Fan.
I've never seen somebody as fast as arithmetic as my man Ben Higgins was. I was making a joke on Twitter, and I needed, so there's 162 games in a baseball season, and my prediction is the Padres will win 69 games. I was making a joke, the 69 joke. So I said I'm excited for 69, and I'd go, Ben, what is 162 minus 69? And 2 seconds.
93.
Yeah, 2 seconds. I would have had to get out the calculator. You're very good.
I'm not Goodwill Hunting over here.
When it came to things like that, I could always just play.
It's not that hard. I mean, if you had said, what's 162 minus 60? You could do
102.
That very quickly, right?
Even I could do that.
Well, okay. So what if I said, what is 162 minus 70?
92.
Well, isn't that pretty quick there? So you know that 69 is just taking one less than 70.
Oh,
so if you know that 162 minus 70 is 92, then you can quickly go.
But you did it in 1 second.
Yeah. 93.
Look at the big brain on bed. Man, that was really good.
So you're saying that if everyone performs like they did last year, even the disappointing performances that led to 82 and 80, that Juan Soto would be then, you're losing a 13-win player in Juan Soto. Wow.
It's just a Twitter.
He is really, really good.
A Twitter joke. Well, we also lost three-fifths of our rotation, our closer.
Do we have like 500 innings to make up?
7. I think it's in 700. Something like that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What's 162 times 9?
See, now, 162 times 10 is 1,620. So minus another 62 would be 1,558. Well, I don't know. That's how you do that. Go to the even number.
You're really good.
And then take away what you need to take away.
Okay. I could just do arithmetic questions for the next 17 minutes.
But we got Sammy online. Sammy's online. Yeah, let's check traffic one last time, and then we'll get to Sam Levitt in Nashville. Give him his math quiz coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Not too bad of a wrap-up for a morning drive. Several vehicles got into it on westbound 8 just before Fletcher Parkway there in the center divide. Also, one-way traffic control in effect along the 67 between Poway Road and Rock House Road in both directions. This is all due to some road work going on until 3 o'clock this afternoon. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we got Sam Levitt, who is waiting on breaking news, potentially a Juan Soto trade. It seems like it's very close, Sammy, but no one's officially been able to pull the trigger on that tweet yet.
Yeah, I think the most significant tweet that I've seen so far was from John Morosi detailing, that the package would likely to include Michael King and Drew Thorpe, which I think would be a good thing for the San Diego Padres. But it does feel like one of those scenarios where we're all just waiting for that eventual tweet to confirm what is slowly trickling out. And Paul and I were talking about this before I came on. It's sort of eerily similar to you guys on the show. What was it, a year and a half ago, or a little bit less than that? Waiting for the Juan Soto news of him coming to San Diego, and kind of eerie. Now we're talking about it the other way, and it seems like a definite possibility this might happen sooner rather than later.
I think Ferris Bueller said it best when he said, life comes at you pretty fast. Did he say that, Ben? Life comes at you fast?
He did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
If you don't stop and take a look, you might miss it.
I'd be happy to miss this one. This is one I wouldn't mind missing today. But listen, it is what it is. I said it maybe right when the season ended. What did I say? If you're a Padres fan or a fan of any team, you're a true fan, what do? They give you the bowl and the spoon, and they say, here, eat it. Or don't. That's your option as a fan. You eat the slop they give you, or you don't, and you walk away and you say, "I'm not doing this anymore." You have that option to do.
I think it's unfair to refer to even the current Padres roster as slop.
That's not what I meant. I was actually referring to the soup that they give you. Well, we don't know yet.
We've seen slop.
It's
not that slop does not include Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Xander Bogaerts on your team.
And I do wonder what those guys think of it. And we don't know. They could be like, yes, he's gone. Yes. Hell yeah. Xander's like, I get my spot back in the lineup. Whatever. You never know. You truly never know. We'll see how it plays out. But definitely feels like a weird one, Sammy. What's the I'm assuming this is the major buzz around Nashville right now.
Yeah, it is. And Scott Boras just spoke. In fact, I think he still might be talking. He's been going for a while, probably at least about a half hour. I did my best to get in there and get some video, but it is it's a really tough task because and I'm not kidding, there could be 100 or more people surrounding Scott Boras.
That's amazing.
As he stands in the lobby here at the Opryland. So he was asked about Juan Soto. I don't think he said anything that was, all that significant, and that's no surprise with obviously talks ongoing. But look, obviously a lot going on with his client Juan Soto, and we certainly fielded a lot of questions from Yankees writers and a lot of other various items regarding his clients as well. But that's kind of the buzz here right now, as Boras was talking at least about 5 minutes ago, and I think still might be going right now. It is. You guys may have seen it last year. It really is it's a sight when he talks, because it's certainly the biggest media scrum I've ever seen, and he gets up on sort of a little platform and is kind of hovering over the scrum. It is something, but he's obviously somebody that has a lot of power.
Yeah, I always wondered about that because other agents don't do that. Scott Boras does. Does that serve his clients, or does that serve Scott Boras's ego to stand there and do that? I've always wondered which is it. Does it serve the clients? He does well for his clients.
How do his clients do?
But does that have anything
to be doing pretty well?
Does it have anything to do with the fact that he stands there?
Yeah, don't change a thing.
Does that help raise one more dollar for any of his clients? Because if it did, why doesn't every agent do that all the time? Just stand there in front of the media and keep talking about their clients. If they think that's why Scott Boras is so successful, you'd see some imitators. Successful.
We're losing it, Sam.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I mean, I'm here checking my phone, and as we're talking and waiting to see what the next update is. So, look, it'll be interesting to see if this does indeed get done by the time we get out of here. It'll certainly make this, this may not be the final day per se of the winter meetings, but certainly people are starting to head out this evening and into tomorrow morning and heading out of Nashville. So I'm fascinated to see what happens. AJ Preller is scheduled to talk to the media later today, so I know we will hear from AJ Preller one way or another. I just saw Mike Shildt walking around. Did not have a chance to ask him, if he knew anything. But, look, a lot going on here with this Juan Soto situation. But I will say, I think just reading the report from Morosi, the tweet from Morosi, that potentially Michael King and Drew Thorpe would be included. I do think that's a good place to start, because Michael King is somebody who you could insert into your rotation this season. I'm not saying he's a top-of-the-line starter, but he's certainly got a lot of ability and has a lot of potential. And if you look at a lot of the numbers, they are good, and we know the stuff's good. And then Thorpe is the second highest pitching prospect in the Yankees system. So that's a good place to start. Again, if it does go down today, I'm like you guys, I will be fascinated to see the package. And, we heard AJ Preller talk earlier this week about the proposition of value now versus future value. And, it's all part of the equation of where this team is at right now. I heard you guys talking about the roster a little bit. Look, I still believe, with or without Juan Soto, there is plenty of offensive talent on this team. I mean, I still believe this team could be a very, very good offensive team in 2024. And, the concept of, as painful as it might be, and I get it, for fans out there to move Juan Soto, and you are a better offense with Juan Soto, no doubt. Look, there definitely is a scenario that, once you get over any anger you have about it, you may look at things and say it's a more well-rounded roster, and it makes more sense for where they're at right now.
That's gonna take 2 months. That feeling of like,
Sure.
know what? It's hey, maybe this isn't so bad. When you get into spring training and you've added, this guy and this guy for the rotation and this guy to play left, or like I said, there's names out there that absolutely blow my hair back that I'd be like, yes, Juan who? Like you go get Arozarena at 3 more years at $7 million or whatever, done.
Right.
No brainer. Like, I'm stoked to get Randy Arozarena. That would be amazing.
Right.
But
sub 800 OPS last year. It's not like Randy Arozarena is Juan Soto, though.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I mean, there's very few of those guys
nobody
out
is,
there.
so.
Yeah, that's the thing. So, but
Right.
I mean,
If
but
that's
again,
your criteria, you're going to be in pain.
Yeah, but again, complimenting what we already have, I think that could be a good compliment, certainly. So we'll see. There's always a reason the Rays want to trade guys, and we've done pretty well against the Rays, I will say. One of the few teams that has. So there are names out there, Sammy, that could potentially get us excited, but it definitely feels like a dark day amongst several dark days lately.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think I totally understand it in the sense of, the Padres made the trade a couple of summers ago, gave up a lot, right? And we all knew that at the time that they gave up a lot to get Juan Soto. And I think at the time, we all sort of assumed two things: that at bare minimum, they would have a chance at 3 postseason runs with Juan in their lineup. And also that, the greater plan was to find a way to keep Soto here, long term. And, looking at it now and quite frankly, watching Scott Boras up on the podium and talking about, Soto and being in the last year of a contract and pending free agency, maybe that was a little bit of a pipe dream as far as keeping him here long term. But even regardless of that, or at least keeping him here long term without him hitting free agency. But regardless of that, I think that the idea that a year and a half later you're moving him, I totally understand it for the fan base that is not a great feeling. But again, the only thing I would say to that in this moment, before this is final, before we have any more action here on this Wednesday in Nashville, is that I still do think, even without Juan, this is going to has the potential to be a good offensive team, and I do think there is a path forward in 2024. And give AJ Preller a little time to see what he can use that freed up money for, and see what this roster ultimately looks like come spring training. So I know it today may end up being painful, but I do believe there is a path forward where this team can be plenty competitive this coming season. And offensively in particular, there's still a lot of star power in that lineup that can do a lot of things.
Sammy, really appreciate it. Great work this week. And, of course, if there's any more news, you'll have it for Coach, Gwen, and Chris later today.
Yep, I'm staying tuned like you guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you. Sam Levitt in Nashville at the winter meetings. By the way, the other name that's been mentioned other than Michael King, Drew Thorpe, just so everybody knows, 2022 draft pick out of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Went right to high single A as a rookie last year, and then promoted to double A. Went 14-2 with a 2.52 ERA in his first year in professional baseball in the Yankees system last year. So a fast riser. He's 23 years old already. Feels like someone who probably would get to the big leagues this year if he was with the Yankees. So my guess is he would get to the big leagues this year with the San Diego Padres, or next year with the San Diego Padres, if he is included in this deal. No? Yes?
He was in single A.
High single A, got promoted to double A, where he went 4-0 with a 1.48 ERA in double A at the end of the season.
Probably gets a look here. Yeah.
I would imagine you'd start likely in double A. If things go well, you could be promoted pretty quickly up to the big leagues for a team that needs pitching. He is a possibility of being part of a rotation at some point for the Padres in 2023 if he is included in this deal, in addition to King.
It's also a chance all these guys get flipped for somebody else.
That is true, too.
That is just never know.
AJ will never stop being unpredictable, to be sure.
Okay.
Before we go, I want to thank the sponsors for our Christmas and holiday extravaganza again, coming up in 2 weeks. If you missed it earlier, we've got 4 $1,000 gift cards that we're giving away to families in need here in San Diego. You have to nominate them by going to our website, 973thefan.sd.com/holiday. Put in why you think family needs this gift card. Our sponsors are fantastic. Padilla Law Group, San Diego's father-son injury law firm. Visit PadillaLawGroup.com. The San Diego Seals. Get your tickets now at SealsLax.com, and 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown, plus Swami's Cafe, stepping up yesterday as well. Phenomenal breakfast with multiple locations all around town. Get your names and stories in there. We'll be picking them. We'll be calling them on the air for our extravaganza in a couple of weeks. 2 weeks from today, in fact, for the holiday extravaganza.
All right, my
Ben
friends.
and Woods are signing off, so that means stay glued.
Breaking
stay
news is
glued
now
to your
allowed
phone.
to happen in the next couple of
Any
minutes.
It will be, yeah.
We'll have it for you here on 97.3 The Fan. Do not go away. That's it for us. For executive producer, imaging director Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. right here on San Diego's #1 sports station, the very successful 97.3 The Fan.